see how this goes. Okay, stream says that we're healthy and live. I'm just refreshing to check that. It still says that we're offline. I need a link. You're live. The internet can totally see you right now. Alright, it says that we're good. So.
Hold up.
I'm really rich. I'll show you that in a second. And by the way, hey yo, the hottest mother in the room. Yeah, you know, it's me, bitches. Hey,
alright, I took push to talk off.
Locally, legally, I'm being at the
alright.
right now. I'm at my
Yes.
watching Ted Cruz. You know
cool.
how much you love it when you get in a balance image about a budget when you know ways the subject of discussion, but it's nothing when you
Alright, where's the link at?
The link.
I need the link for the live event. My mic. Oh wait, my mic's on. Never mind. We're good. Woo! All right. Here we go. Gotta grab that. Go live. Well, I'm gonna link that in a second. Three, two, one. Alright, here we go. Alright, we are live on YouTube right now. I'm gonna leave the link going on in the description. But yeah, no, we're live. We're doing a full stream of the debate. We're gonna be discussing stuff. We're gonna have a lot of fun, alright? So come check us out.
We out here.
Alright, you can't hear my co-host going on right now, because you have to be on YouTube to come hear him. But he said Armageddon 2016. That's about what would happen. So come join us. We got alcohol. We got the stream going. We're gonna have a good time, alright? So definitely come check it out. Discord link and the YouTube link will be in the description. I'm gonna post that right now. Definitely come out and check it, alright? Peace out, Dragonkin out.
Seacrest out.
Alright, and make sure that's the right link. Alright, we're good. Okay, add everyone. And post this in the PTSD. Alright, we're done with this. Alright, so the debate's going to start in 30 minutes. So. We got that going on. And just grab the Discord link real fast. Alright, and just grab that link again. And got Alright, we're live, we're good. We are good to go. Sorry about all that. Welcome to the third presidential debate with Dragonkin. My friend here, Snuggles, is going to be co-hosting for at least the first part before the debate starts. And yeah, no, we're setting up. I'm going to start setting up my drinks and going through what we're going to be talking about during the debate and what each drink is going to represent for drinking through the night. All right? The most important part. So yeah, I went out last night and just got all this fucking alcohol. So this is gonna be a fun night. So which one should I start with? Which drink? Which theme?
One of them.
One of them? Thanks. Alright, so I guess we'll go closest to furthest. So let me just grab some ice, drop this into this glass right here. Alright, so we got the whiskey one going on right here, and this is going to be a expensive ass Jack and Coke. And that's going to be, yep, that's my Jack and Coke. This one is crazily aged, and of course I'm pouring Coke Zero in there to ruin it. But this one is for any time that a Trump scandal is brought up, any time that they mention his sexual assault, anytime they bring up any of his avoiding taxes, anything like that, that's going to be this drink right here. How often do you think I'm going to be drinking that, Sniper? Or Snuggles?
All night.
All night? All night. Alright, I guess I'll do tequila next. This is going to be a very small one. We'll throw it in this one back here. Just a little bit of tequila. Not a big tequila fan. I don't think I'm going to be drinking it too much. So this one is going to be representing there's the lemon juice. Anytime Mexico's brought up, which is why I'm going to drink some tequila. A little bit too much lemon juice, oh well. So how often do you think Mexico's going to be brought up this election? Or in this, at least, small debate?
I don't know, man. I think he exhausted Mexico, but it's Trump, so definitely a lot.
He has not said build the wall in any of the debates so far.
He hasn't? The
No,
wall
he has
hasn't been
not.
brought up at all.
The wall has not been brought up in any debate.
Also, he's still got ammunition on that. I don't think it'll be brought up a lot, if any, in this one, because with all the other stuff with the Project Veritas videos coming up, or coming out, and exposing all the stuff within the DNC and what was the organization that they were working for? I don't remember, but everything that WikiLeaks has released, he's got a million other things besides policy.
Yeah. Alright, I should just drop a couple ice cubes into that. Yeah, so I guess since you brought up Project Veritas, that should be the next drink that I bring up. Which is the rum. So we're doing a rum because Hillary Clinton's a lawless pirate, apparently. So we're just going to pour some rum into this. Gonna need a lot of rum because I think that's going to be the main part of this debate. And so anytime any of the illegal stuff that gets brought up, the WikiLeaks, anything like that, we're going to be drinking rum. We're going to be drinking like straight up rum because she's a lawless pirate. I have a nice blueberry lemonade rum, so I'm going to be pouring some lemonade into that, and I'm going to be enjoying this drink.
Totally heterosexual blueberry lemonade rum.
Completely heterosexual blueberry lemonade. There's actually a bar here that has a drink. It's called Uncle Butch's 100% totally heterosexual lemonade. Strawberry lemonade. Oh my god, it's like one of the funniest drinks. It like the description is like about like his pool boy Ramon or whatever. It's so funny. I'm not gonna be able to get this without a. Oh, I got this. Ooh, almost dropped it. So I got some Crystal Skull vodka. I mean, just gonna be pouring that in here. And this is any time they bring up Russia in any way possible. Because Russian vodka, I could not find Hammer and Sickle vodka. I really wanted to have Hammer and Sickle vodka up here. But, we just got normal vodka, sadly.
The final
Oh, debate is starting. Okay, I'm gonna turn this down a little bit. Have you seen this ad, by the way?
Which ad?
It looks like the third debate commercial. It straight up looks like a WWE. Like, it straight up looks like it. It's so funny. It's like Hillary, Trump, third debate, Wednesday night.
Be there.
Live in Las Vegas. Be there. It's so great. Okay, so we're gonna turn this down right now. And like they're just trying to show as many hits as possible. Anyway, this is gonna be for Russia. I'm making a screwdriver because we're screwed.
Badunts.
The Dutch. Woo! All right, and that's my alcohol choices of tonight. I'm gonna put some more ice in all these so they stay cold because this is gonna be a long ass debate. Oh man.
Oh snap!
If I can get some more fucking ice out of this.
Trump
What?
invited Ambassador
What's up?
Stevens' fiance.
Who's Ambassador Stevens? Is that the
He's the guy,
Ecuador
right?
ambassador?
He's the guy.
Oh, that was the guy that got
That
killed
got
after torture for like a bunch of
tortured
hours.
and burned for 7 hours.
That's gonna be. Oh man,
Yeah.
dude. Like that one was hidden because like everyone was making a big deal. So Trump invited what's his name? Obama's half brother, yeah, to the debate as well, and like that was just like one of those slap in the face kind of deals that Obama's brother is supporting Trump, and I think that that's great. So I didn't bring up the last drink, all right? So this shot glass right here, this is the special shot glass, all right? That is a triple shot glass. If either of the presidential candidates is shot on stage, passes out, someone goes up and attacks them, if they get into a fist fight, like anything that's just like straight up violence happens at this debate, I'm taking a triple shot of my favorite alcohol. I got absinthe right here. I'm taking a triple shot of this. This is 120 proof, so that's what 60% alcohol, so that's like a shot and a half. So this is like, if someone gets shot on stage, straight up I'm taking what, 5.5 shots, or yeah, about five and a half shots. All right,
That's it. Only
so
5.5?
yeah, that after drinking everything too, like this is gonna be
Dude,
great.
if someone gets shot, you're gonna
I'm
slam
gonna-
the bottle.
Oh man, no, I'm not. That's like $70 a fucking
You're
bottle.
gonna shoot nice this.
That's nice. All right, so I'm testing all my drinks right now. Whiskey is super fucking smooth. Oh my god. Even with the Jack in it, with the Coke in it. My lemonade tastes pretty much like drunken lemonade. Screwdriver. Everyone knows what a screwdriver tastes like unless you're under 18, which you still might know what a screwdriver tastes like. And my horrible tequila mix thing, because I didn't have anything to mix with tequila here. That's tequila. All right, we're good. We are good to go. Don't do it. All right. Where did I put my phone? Okay, so I need my phone out. I'm not leaning over the entire time to do this kind of stuff. So I'm gonna have Discord on my phone. So if you see me staring at my phone for most of it, it's me reading your guys' comments in Discord. The link is in the description of this. Definitely just talk the entire time. Alright, so we got, what, 23 more minutes. You're leaving soon to drive to a bar, but you're still going to be on Discord for the beginning of it. And he's going to be commenting and keeping up with us still through this entire debate.
Important on the matter.
His opinion is amazing. Okay, so let's talk about the Project Veritas videos that just came out because I think I missed one of them because I haven't had time to watch it today because I've been busy setting all this up, getting like my money couch set up and all this kind of
The
stuff.
important shit.
All the important stuff. I didn't like. I couldn't keep up with politics. I did watch Ron Paul's questions that he wishes were going to be asked tonight, the ones that aren't going to be asked tonight video, but that's about it. Uh, so, what's your opinion on the entire Veritas videos? Do you think that that's going to be a huge factor in this
Absolutely.
debate?
I mean, Trump retweeted both of the. I think both of the videos he's retweeted now. It may have only been the first one, but either way, it's going to be a huge. It's going to be a huge focal point in this debate.
I'm really hoping it is because those videos, if you haven't checked them out, look up Project Veritas or just look up at this point, Clinton, uh, voter fraud,
Yeah, well, that would be the second
should be the #1 video now. Like it's in the top trending YouTube videos. Just check it out. Just type in Project Veritas, or just like corruption. Like it's all over. Like I'm sure most of you are following Milo Yiannopoulos. He has a video about it up there. Sargon of Akkad just posted a video today about it. I think I haven't seen anything of Louder with Crowder talking about it. He's probably going to talk about it on his podcast tomorrow. CNN, I think, covered it for about 2 minutes. They're like, here's some things that are happening. And then they said that I think they said that it was like a setup or something. This is also the channel that said that if you are reading the WikiLeaks articles, you're committing a crime.
But it's
So take that with a grain of salt. Yeah, it's different for the
all
media.
of your news from
Which I mean, here's the deal. Like technically, right now, what I'm doing is commentation. So I should be reading those WikiLeaks, and as long as I'm telling you about them, technically I'm now the media.
loopholes.
So loopholes.
But it's not legal in the first place.
It's not illegal in the first. It's illegal how he obtained them, and then he released them, which he's then illegal for, but it's not illegal for any of us to read it.
Hashtag free.
So, yeah. So, what's your favorite email that was sent?
My favorite email?
Yeah, like which one was like the most incriminating, or like at least your favorite to read?
There's so many.
Because I have like a favorite one. I have a favorite one, and I have like the one that's the most incriminating. I guess I'll go first then. My favorite one was the fake Craigslist ad because it was so fake and so ridiculous. But that's how they're doing it. Like it was one of the funniest ones ever. If you guys have a chance, definitely go watch it and go read it. It's one of the funniest emails. It was basically saying how like it was written as like one of Trump's workers, and they were just like bashing Trump in the email to work for him. It was like saying how you have to be okay with him sexualizing you and commenting about your age, and you have to lie about your age, and how his college is fake. It was one of the funniest Craigslist ads ever, and it's one of my favorites. And I think the most incriminating one was the FBI ones, where they were corresponding with the Clinton campaign to make sure that any information about her was getting like hidden under the rug, but still being released, so it wasn't getting covered by the media. I think that that's the most incriminating thing.
Honestly, I couldn't say that I have a favorite, but the most interesting to me were the ones that he didn't actually release. Well, for all we know, it's when he tweeted out the pre-commitment 1 through 3 with John Kerry, Ecuador, and the UK Foreign and Commonwealth Office, right? And he tweeted those out with hashes. So
Yeah.
Those are the most interesting to me because I'm seriously wondering what exactly he has, and because it seemed like a threat when he tweeted those out.
Yeah, I think those were just like to get media attention and just kind of like say this is what we know, and we haven't released yet. Those are going to be within some of the emails probably coming up next. I think he is 100% in the right of ruining her thing. First off, because of it's illegal to hack into anything. However, if it's like stealing with your door wide open and you're on vacation. If you're not expecting people to walk into your house and steal your TV after you went on vacation for a week, no one was in the house and your door is wide open. I mean, what else what are you really expecting? So
I honestly think, regardless of what's in those emails, I think Julian's still holding on to some stuff.
Yeah, I do too. I honestly think that if they break down his door, everything's going to be released. Like, it's definitely.
Oh, I mean, he'd be stupid not to have a dead man switch. He knows better than that. There's no.
Oh yeah, no, he definitely has a dead man switch. And for any of you that don't know what a dead man switch is, it's basically every day you have to log into your email or log into like this password, and if you're killed or captured, then and you don't put in like this code every single day, it's pretty much a kill switch to just send everything out.
Well, not in
and delete any incriminating thing on his email.
It may not necessarily be that specific thing because, the Ecuadorian Ecuador cut off his internet access.
Yeah, so, I'm sure he has a staff member doing it every day.
So I mean, if the kill switch was triggered, then it's no longer him putting out the info. Putting out the info. It's someone he works with.
Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, he has a bunch of people that works for him. If every one of his team got captured, I'm pretty sure that kill switch would get activated. I'm pretty sure that he had a phone call with the people he works with. He probably gave out the password to them. They're holding on to it, and they're doing his steps. And
probably still right on.
That's how it's going to go.
Track to drop those bombs.
Oh yeah. So I think that he's doing great work. Let's talk about the Project Veritas thing just real fast. So if you guys haven't checked it out, please do. They've admitted to setting up voter fraud in past elections and how they were doing it in this election. So is Trump now, like, it was a big thing saying that Trump was saying that this election is rigged. Is he in the right to say that it's rigged now? Because before it was just speculation. Do you think he's right to say that it's rigged now?
Absolutely. And on the same day that O'Keefe released the second installment of the video that showed the voter fraud, right? Obama comes out with a press conference or he's a speech, and he's talking about how voter fraud, it doesn't happen. He's never seen it. And,
yeah.
He can't recall a time in history where it happened since he's been alive. And
I mean, there's so many things. Like, everyone knows about all of the, like, dead people vote for the next 16 years after they die. And they always vote Democrat. Now, me and you both know that Ron Paul was cheated out of the Republican election in 2012. Like, we've seen the proof. Like, counties went missing. It was ridiculous.
Entire counties didn't have their votes turned in.
Yeah. So, like, we know that the Republicans do it. I don't think they could have done it to Trump because of how many people voted for Trump. Like, there was definitely probably some foul play.
It's never been this out in the open before. You had
it's amazing
before the voter fraud, the DNC voter fraud video came out, where you had the commissioner for the Democratic election in New York City, right? You had the commissioner saying they bust people around to vote. And then a week later, here comes out this new Project Veritas video where the guy is saying essentially the same thing, among other things, but he mentions how they bust people around. And then, of course, they come out in full damage control mode when CNN covers it, and when Fox covers it. And and they say, they brush it off as like, oh, it's a hypothetical conversation. Like, you know, he's just bragging. What is that? Oh.
Is that Cass? Okay, what's up, Cass?
It's a hypothetical conversation, and they just try to brush it off as that. But a week prior, the commissioner of the Democratic election in New York City said the same thing. So how many hypothetical conversations are these people having in different states?
Yeah, it's getting ridiculous. Okay, Cass just went to the AFK chat. But no, like it's ridiculous. And we saw, like, we knew that the Republicans do this too. And it's not just, you know, Republicans are as bad and Democrats, like, whatever. Because we know that the Republicans did this too, at least in their primaries. And you know that if they're doing it in the primaries, they're definitely doing it in the general election. However, it's never been this widespread and this apparent and to this scale. I think that's the bigger issue, is how big of a scale this was on.
No, it's absolutely huge.
Oh yeah. What's up, Cass?
Hey, girl.
Yeah, we're just talking about the voter fraud that was in the Project Veritas videos.
Oh, yeah? Are they addressing it in the debate?
They should. Well, here's the thing. Trump tweeted it out. Like, we already kind of went over this. Trump tweeted it out. Both videos. So you know that at least the people that he works for have seen it, and you know that if the people that work for him have seen it, that have control of his Twitter, he's seen it. So he has to bring it up.
He left again.
And yeah, he left. I think he's having internet issues. Hopefully he'll be here for the debate. But yeah, no, I think that is 100% fair game. And I mean, now we have proof. Now we know what to look for, and it's going to be an amazing debate.
I mean, let's look at the facts here, right? This is the final debate before the election.
Yeah. And Trump even said that he doesn't have any handlers right now.
Well, he said he was.
The people that were his handlers
unchained after the GOP abandoned him.
Oh yeah, no, like he's 100%. He doesn't have anyone really advising him other than the people from Breitbart. And I mean, Milo is one of the chief editors at Breitbart. So how strict of a handle can you really be on?
But
so,
I mean, this is really the final stand in terms of information that Trump puts out there. So he's no doubt going to drop some serious, like he's going to nuclear Holocaust Hillary right here.
Oh yeah, definitely.
At least that's what I'm hoping for.
Oh man, I am 100% hoping for all of that. I'm so excited for this debate. Just to like watch everything. I would also suggest that you start driving to that bar.
I'll be a little late.
You'll be a little late? All right.
Here, I'll just send him a text right now.
But yeah, no, all right, so I just want to go over everything again. You can see the Discord chat going on right now. Check out the Discord group, and then send us stuff. I mean, we're very welcome to any questions, any commentary that you guys have. Last debate, we just had people posting a bunch of memes the entire time. It was so much fun. I mean, like, this is the meme
shitpost central right here.
Debate watch. Yeah, this is shitpost central for the debate. We are more off the wire than Louder with Crowder with his, and he talk off his fucking we don't even have a wire. We're just floating somehow.
The laws
just hanging by the balls.
To us. Fuck that shit.
Yeah. Oh man. Speaking of, oh my god. So yep. You can grab Snuggles here by the balls, like Trump grabs women by the pussy.
I wish Trump would grab me by the pussy.
Oh man. Dude, I was cutting open a lobster at work, and like if you cut open a lobster and then peel it out, it kind of looks like a vagina. And I was holding it in my hand, and I was like, guys, I'm grabbing her by the lobster.
Jeez.
Oh my god. I got everyone in my work laughing. I said, like, we need a shoga, like, we need a work shirt because I work at a Japanese restaurant. And I was like, we need to have, like, a photo of, like, a lobster on the shirt, and it says, grab her by the lobster. and then we need to be fair, so we need an onion volcano with, like little, like, uh, letters being burnt above it, and it says Hillary Clinton's emails. So the debate's gonna start in about 7.5 minutes, and by start I mean they're gonna be walking on stage and waving hands and speaking a little bit, and that's about it. In about 7.5 minutes. So the actual debate will probably start in probably 10. So. And just to go over the drinking rules again for anyone that's just joining us, I have whiskey here. Anytime any of Trump's scandals are brought up, I'm drinking the whiskey. I have rum here. Anytime that Clinton's scandals come up, I'm drinking rum. I have vodka here. Anytime that Russia is brought up, because we're about to go to nuclear war with Russia, apparently, I'm going to be drinking that. And I'm drinking a screwdriver because we're all fucking screwed. And I have tequila here. Anytime that the wall or Mexico is brought up, I'm going to be drinking tequila. And then I have a triple shot ready to go with absinthe right here. And if either of them gets attacked or dies or passes out on stage, I am doing a triple shot of absinthe.
It'll be fun though.
It's going to be a great night. I'm probably going to kill myself if one of them die. Just alcohol poisoning. I'll be in the bathroom, like, throwing up for the next, like, 3 hours, trying to get all of it out of me. But it'll be a good debate.
All right, so real talk, real quick before they come out on stage, because I know we only got a couple minutes left.
Yeah.
How cucked do you think Chris Wallace is?
So just so everyone knows who Chris Wallace is, he's going to be the moderator for this debate. He works for Fox, but he's a registered Democrat, so he's a little bit more middle of the road. He runs the Fox Morning Sunday Show, which almost no one watches unless you're about 70 years old.
So, like all mainstream media.
Yeah, like all mainstream media now. I think he's going to be the most even-handed moderator so far. However, I think he's still going to be on the side of Clinton, even though he works for Fox.
Absolutely.
Because he is registered Democrat. There is no way that the DNC would not let a Democrat be the moderator. There hasn't been any Republican moderators this entire debate. The fact that there's even a Fox moderator is shocking to me.
I think we're in for a bunch of lowball questions lobbed at Hillary.
Yeah. I feel like he's gonna be like lobbing some at Hillary, but this guy has also been the hardest interview for either of these two whenever it came to any of the interviews.
Which,
that
in
they've
comparison
done.
to the other interviewers, isn't really saying much.
I think the difference is the other ones have been like coach pitch for like Little League, thrown at Hillary. I think this guy is gonna be like girls softball, pitching to them, which I mean is a lot slower still, but at least
Look,
it's a little bit more
I'm not
fast paced and a little bit harder hitting.
It's not gonna be like the chick from last time, whatever her name was.
Yeah.
Who actually at one point started arguing with Trump.
And I was dying laughing.
Definitely
check out the last debate with me just dying laughing the entire time, getting drunk off my ass. Just like I will be doing with this debate.
Alright, boys.
But yeah, no, it's going to be great. Alright. Have a safe drive.
Well, I'm not drunk yet, so I should.
Yeah, I mean, have a safe drive home too. Don't fucking die. All right. Okay, we got 3 minutes until they come out on the stage.
Woo.
Woo! All right.
All right, have fun.
So Cass. Yep, you too. So Cass, what do you think's gonna happen during this debate?
I'm not really sure. I'm pretty sure it's going to be incredibly memeable, though.
Yeah, I'm. This has been one of the most exciting things that I've seen for the debates thus far. Yeah. I'm just gonna check the Facebook stuff. Check everything. Just make sure that everything's good. Everything's live. All right, and I'm just gonna do one more live thing for PTSD, trying to get us as many people watching as possible. Alright, last one. Never mind. It got posted, like, the other one got posted, so we should be good. Cool, we're good. Anyway. So, another minute and a half. I am so ready to get all of these drinks down. I also have a BAC tracker right here. So every about 15 minutes, I'm gonna blow into the BAC tracker and see how drunk I really am. Got that going on too. I might do it every time they switch topics, like any huge topic changes. So Trump also said that he's been actually preparing for this debate for once.
Oh.
Yeah, and which I think just involves him watching videos of why Hillary Clinton's corrupt, and maybe a little bit on foreign policy, hopefully. But he also said that he's not chained down this debate either. He doesn't have the RNC breathing down his neck anymore. Because they pretty much said you're on your own. They aren't working with him anymore. So yep. And I'm gonna turn on
3 o'clock sharp.
This.
We're gonna see. You're gonna hear in the back.
And they're all just talking now. At everyone.
30 seconds before I'll give you notice that we're gonna start.
Hillary Clinton is the most corrupt person ever to run.
Dude, have you seen this commercial?
I really don't care what he says about me. I will stand
I don't think I have yet.
and everyone else who he insults.
The election is being rigged by corrupt media, pushing outright lies.
When they go low, election is being rigged.
Pushing outright lies.
From NBC News. Decision 2016, the final presidential debate. Live from the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. Here now, Lester Holt.
So he just brought up that he thinks it's right.
Debate between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump less than 3 minutes away. The backdrop, a day of surprise guest announcements and campaign stunts. Trump behind in the polls and a game-changing moment. Looking to rattle Clinton before the debate even gets underway.
Cass, I can hear your TV, I think,
Sorry.
or whatever you're listening on. Oh, you're good.
Issues to discuss and serious differences between these two candidates. I'm joined by Savannah Guthrie, Chuck Todd, Tom Brokaw. Savannah, let me begin with you. Set the stage for us.
Well, we're here in Vegas, so pick your metaphor. It's high stakes. The candidate is going to put it all on the table tonight. This is the last
It's gonna be
time
great.
a candidate gets a big national audience like this. And so they have a potential for a game changer. And Donald Trump really needs a game changer.
All right, I'm taking off the glasses. This stuff gives me a headache. I'm looking through like little dots in this.
He had brought this to be a very tight race.
That's not good.
Situation tonight, and he needs to
Yeah.
turn it around.
Well, we're good now. I took him off.
It is. This isn't just about Donald Trump needing to have a good night. If you're on the ballot underneath Donald Trump's name, you really need him to have a good night. I've talked to plenty of Republican strategists for Senate and House campaigns. They say if tonight is like that first debate for Trump, the bottom could fall out and the House and Paul Ryan's job could be at stake.
Tom, talk about
Oh, and for anyone that just wants to watch the debate, and not me, I don't know why you'd want to do that. But
Then I think she also has to expand her core group. We know that she's not running as strongly as she might among millennials. We expect to maybe hear from her tonight.
all right, there we go.
But most of all, she has to be presidential, that she's up to the job.
Let's check the temperature with the Clinton campaign. Andrea Mitchell is in the spin room. What do you
Honestly, I think Clinton is the most presidential. Like just by like look and how she acts. That's not necessarily a good thing for this presidential election. It's not much of a bar to jump to, but it's definitely a bar.
All right, Katie Tur, you are watching the Trump campaign. What are they saying about tonight?
Okay, that was pretty good. What's the Trump campaign saying right now? Cutaway. Cassie there?
Oh yeah, I am.
Okay. There we go. So, that was amazing. They just cut away from any Trump talk. Like, thank you, NBC. Oh my God. I'm watching the NBC one anyway because it's just really bad.
I'm Chris Wallace of Fox News, and I welcome you to the third and final.
I'm not bringing up anything on 4chan while I'm streaming. But if you guys want to look at some really funny memes while this is going on, I'm sure 4chan will have a bunch of memes.
The commission has designed the format: 6 roughly 15-minute segments with 2-minute answers to the first question, then open discussion for the rest of each segment. Both campaigns have agreed to those rules. For the record, I decided the topics and the questions in each topic. None of those questions has been shared with the commission or the 2 candidates. The audience here in the hall has promised...
They have to say this now because of the WikiLeaks with Sanders and how Hillary Clinton was fed answers.
No noise
or questions that she could prepare answers for.
The Democratic nominee for president, Secretary Clinton, and the Republican nominee for president, Mr. Trump.
Are they going to shake hands? Nope. Straight to the podium.
Secretary Clinton, Mr. Trump, welcome. Let's get right to it. The first topic is the Supreme Court. You both talked briefly about the court in the last debate, but I want to drill down on this because the next president will almost certainly have at least one appointment and likely or possibly 2 or 3.
They're actually starting with policy first. That's great.
Will in effect determine the balance of the court for what could be the next quarter century. First of all, where do you want to see the court take the country? And secondly, what's your view on how the Constitution should be interpreted? Do the founders' words mean what they say, or is it a living document to be applied flexibly according to changing circumstances? In this segment, Secretary Clinton, you go first. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you very much, Chris, and thanks to UNLV for hosting us. You know, I think when we talk about the Supreme Court, it really raises the central issue in this election. Namely, what kind of country are we going to be? What kind of opportunities will we provide for our citizens? What kind of rights will Americans have? And I feel strongly that the Supreme Court needs to stand on the side of the American people, not on the side of the powerful corporations, and the wealthy. For me, that means that we need a Supreme Court that will stand up on behalf of women's rights, on behalf of the rights of the LGBT community, that will stand up and say no to Citizens United, a decision that has undermined the election system in our country because
Trump looks
of
ready.
the way it permits dark, unaccountable money to come into
Like,
our electoral system.
both of them look really good for this election. Like, they both look well rested, look a lot better than the last election.
Yeah.
But I feel that at this point in our country's history, it is important that we not reverse marriage equality.
So there was a criticism that a lot of Republicans had with Hillary, which is she doesn't wear anything American ever, while Trump has an American pin going on at least.
The Supreme Court should represent all of us. That's how I see the court and the kind of people that I would be looking to.
I think she's the first presidential candidate ever not to wear something American on stage
our rights as Americans.
during a debate.
And I
So
look forward to having that opportunity. I would hope that the Senate
since
will do
pins
its
anyway.
job and confirm the nominee that President Obama has sent to them. That's the way the Constitution fundamentally should operate. The president nominates, and then the Senate advises and consents or not, but they go forward with the process.
Secretary Clinton, thank you. Mr. Trump, same question. Where do you want to see the court take the country, and how do you believe the Constitution should be interpreted?
Well, first of all, it's great to be with you, and thank you, everybody. The Supreme Court, it's what it's all about. Our country is it's just so imperative that we have the right justices. Something happened recently where Justice Ginsburg made some very, very inappropriate statements toward me and toward a tremendous number of people, many, many millions of people that I represent. And she was forced to apologize, and apologize she did. But these were statements that should never, ever have been made. We need a Supreme Court that, in my opinion, is going to uphold the Second Amendment and all amendments, but the Second Amendment, which is under absolute siege. I believe if my opponent should win this race, which I truly don't think will happen, we will have a Second Amendment which will be a very, very small replica of what it is right now. But I feel that it's absolutely important that we uphold because of the fact that it is under such trauma. I feel
okay, this is good. Cass just left chat. I think he's having internet issues. But
the justices that I'm going to appoint will be pro-life.
This is actually really good.
Conservative bent. They will be protecting the Second Amendment. They are great scholars in all cases, and they're people of tremendous respect. They will interpret the Constitution the way the founders wanted it interpreted, and I believe that's very, very important. I don't think we should have justices appointed that decide what they want to hear. It's all about the Constitution.
Okay, I'll turn myself down. Thank you for telling me.
And so important, the Constitution.
I'll also turn up the debate. Thank you for letting me know.
To be, and those
there
are
you
the
go.
people that I will appoint.
Is that better?
Mr. Trump, thank you. We now have about 10 minutes for an open discussion. I want to focus on two issues that, in fact, by the justices that you name, could end up changing the existing law of the land. First is one that you mentioned, Mr. Trump, and that is guns. Secretary Clinton, you said last year, and let me quote, "The Supreme Court is wrong on the Second Amendment." And now, in fact, in the 2008 Heller case, the court ruled that there is a constitutional right to bear arms, but a right that is reasonably limited. Those were the words of the judge, Antonin Scalia, who wrote the decision. What's wrong with that?
Well, first of all, I support the Second Amendment. I lived in Arkansas for 18 wonderful years. I represented upstate New York. I understand and respect the tradition of gun ownership. It goes back to the founding of our country. But I also believe that there can be and must be reasonable regulation. Because I support the Second Amendment doesn't mean that I want people who shouldn't have guns to be able to threaten you, kill you or members of your family. And so when I think about what we need to do, we have 33,000 people a year who die from guns. I think we need comprehensive background checks. need to close the online loophole, close the gun
There
show
is no online
loophole. There's
loophole.
other matters that I think
There
are
is no gun show
sensible, that
loophole.
are the kind of reforms that would make a difference, that are not in any way conflicting with the Second Amendment. You mentioned the Heller decision, and what I was saying that you referenced, Chris, was that I disagreed with the way the court applied the Second Amendment in that case, because
she's trying to say
the District
that.
of Columbia was trying to
Thank
do
you.
was to protect toddlers.
She's
from
trying to
guns.
say that the
and so they wanted people with guns to
Second
safely
Amendment,
store them, and the court didn't accept that reasonable regulation, but they've accepted many others. So
it
I
was
see
a
no
ridiculous
conflict between
regulation on this.
saving people's
So
lives
she's trying to
and
say
defending the Second Amendment.
Let me bring Mr.
that
Trump
they
in
need
here. The bipartisan open
regulations on
debate
guns,
coalition
like heavy.
got millions of votes on questions to ask here, and this was, in fact, one of the top questions that they got. How will you ensure the Second Amendment is protected? You just heard Secretary Clinton's answer. Does she persuade you that while you may disagree on regulation, that in fact she supports a Second Amendment right to bear arms?
Well, the D.C. versus Heller decision was very strongly, and she was extremely angry about it. I watched. I mean, she was very, very angry when upheld. And Justice Scalia was so involved, and it was a well-crafted decision. But Hillary was extremely upset, extremely angry, and people that believe in the Second Amendment and believe in it very strongly were very upset with what she had to say.
Well, let me bring in Secretary Clinton. Were you extremely upset?
Well, I was upset because, unfortunately, dozens of toddlers injure themselves, even kill people with guns.
Okay,
because,
just to go into
not
this
everyone who,
a little bit,
has
that
loaded
case
guns in their
was to
homes
basically
takes
put
appropriate precautions.
your
But there's
gun
no
into
doubt
a
that
double
I
safe
respect the Second Amendment, that
and put your
I also
ammunition
believe
in
there's
another
an
room.
individual right to bear arms. That is not in conflict with sensible, common sense regulation.
Yeah.
And, look, I understand that Donald's been strongly supported by the NRA. The gun lobby's on his side. They're running millions of dollars of ads against me. And I regret that, because what I would like to see is for people to come together and say, of course, we're going to protect and defend the Second Amendment, but we're going to do it in a way
Yeah, this is
that
actually
tries
going
to
really
save
well
some of these
for both people.
33,000 lives that we lose every year.
Let me bring Mr. Trump back into that, because in
Clinton's
fact,
actually paying
you
attention too.
oppose any limits
So far.
on assault weapons, any limits on high-capacity magazines. You support a national right to carry law. Why, sir?
Well, let me just tell you, before we go any further, in Chicago, which has the toughest gun laws in the United States, probably you could say by far, they have more gun violence than any other city. So we have the toughest laws,
He's right.
and you have tremendous gun violence. I am a very strong supporter
I'm
of the
shocked I'm not
Second
drinking
Amendment,
yet.
And I don't know if Hillary was saying it in a sarcastic manner, but I'm very proud to have the endorsement of the NRA, and it's the earliest endorsement they've ever given to anybody who ran for president. So I'm very honored by all of that. We are going to appoint justices. This is the best way to help the Second Amendment. We are going to appoint justices that will feel very strongly about the Second Amendment.
Oh no, this is going to kill her right here.
Well, let's pick
Because
up
so many
another
people,
issue
we have a gun
which
culture in
divides
America.
you and the justices that whoever ends up winning this election
Ban assault
appoints
toddlers,
could have
yep.
a dramatic effect there, and that's the issue of abortion.
Right.
Mr. Trump, you're pro-life, but I want to ask you specifically, do you want the court...
This moderator's from Fox, that's why it's not a bad moderator.
...overturn Roe v. Wade, which includes, in fact states, a woman's right to abortion?
Well, if that would happen, because I am pro-life and I will be appointing pro-life judges, I would think that that will go back to the individual states.
But I'm asking you specifically, would you like
If they
to...
overturned it,
Oh,
it would
no,
go back to the states.
But what I'm asking you, sir, is...
He's right.
Do
He's
you
right.
want to see
No,
the
no,
court
he's right.
overturn- you just
Stop
said you want
arguing
to
with
see
him.
The court protect the Second Amendment. Do you want to see the court
He's
overturn
right.
Roe v.
If we
Wade?
put another 2 or perhaps 3 justices on, that's really what's going to be, will happen. And that'll happen automatically, in my opinion, because I am
It will
putting
go to the
pro-life
state.
justices on the court. I will say this, it will go back to the states, and the states will
He's
then
not
make
making a
determination.
really big stance on it, because I think he's
strongly support Roe v.
pro-choice.
Wade, which guarantees a constitutional
but yeah.
right to a woman to make the most intimate, most difficult in many cases decisions about her health care that one can imagine. And in this case, it's not only about Roe v. Wade. it is about what's happening right now in America. So many states are putting
She just lost every
very
single
stringent regulations on women that
pro-choice,
block them
pro-life
from
person.
exercising that choice, to the extent that they are defunding Planned
Trump,
Parenthood, which,
well,
of course, provides
he
all
probably
kinds of cancer
lost a little
screenings
bit
and other
on the
benefits for women in our country. Donald
life
has said
people.
he's in favor
He
of
said that it was
defunding
going to the
Planned
states,
Parenthood.
which
He
is
even
where it should
supported
be.
shutting the
So he
government
gained the
down
libertarians
to
right
defund
there.
Planned Parenthood. I will defend Planned Parenthood. I will defend Roe v. Wade, and I will defend women's rights to make their own health care decisions.
Secretary
And we have come too far to have that turned back now. And indeed, he said women should be punished, that there should be some form of punishment for women who obtain abortions. And I could just not be
He
more
hasn't
opposed to
interrupted
that
her
kind
yet.
of thinking.
That's
I'm going to
wow.
give you a chance to respond, but I want to ask you, Secretary
There's a lot
Clinton, I
more
want to
calm and
explore how
collective
far
this
you believe
this
the
time.
right to abortion goes. You have been quoted as
Trump
saying
looks super
that
presidential.
the fetus has
He
no
does, actually.
constitutional rights. You also voted against a ban on late-term partial birth abortions. Why?
Yeah.
Because Roe v. Wade very clearly sets out that there can be regulations on abortion so long as the life and the health of the mother are taken into account. And when I voted as a senator, I did not think that that was the case. The kinds of cases that fall at the end of pregnancy are often the most heartbreaking, painful decisions for families to make. I have met with women who, toward the end of their pregnancy, get the worst news one could get, that their health is in jeopardy if they continue to carry to term, or that something terrible has happened or just been discovered about the pregnancy. I do not think the United States government should be stepping in and making those most personal of decisions. So you can regulate if you are doing
so she switched it.
with the life and the health of the mother taken into account.
Mr. Trump, your reaction, and particularly on this issue of late-term
That was actually a very
Well, I
good
think it's terrible,
point. That
if
was
you go
well
with
said
what
by
Hillary
her.
is saying,
Yeah.
in the 9th month, you can take the baby and rip the baby out of the womb of the mother just prior to the birth of the baby. Now, you can say that that's
If
okay,
it's partial birth,
and Hillary can
they
say
can
that that's okay,
do
but
an
it's
early
not okay with me. Because based
C-section
on what she's saying and based
and
on where she's
put
going
it on
and
life
where
support
she's been,
at 8 months.
you can take
So-
the baby and rip the baby out of the womb in the 9th month on the final day. And that's not acceptable.
Well, that is not what happens in these cases, and using that kind of scare rhetoric is just terribly unfortunate. You should meet with some of the women that I've met with, women I've known over the course of my life. This is one of the worst possible choices that any woman and her family has to make. And I do not believe the government should be making
It's usually
it. You know,
not
I've
the
had
family.
the great honor of traveling across the world on behalf of our country. I've been to countries where governments either forced
If the
women
mother's
to have
life is in
abortions
danger,
like they
it
used
should
to
be
do
okay.
in China, or forced women to bear children like they used to do in Romania. And I can tell you the government has no business in the decisions that women make with their families in accordance with their faith, with medical advice, and I will stand up for that right.
All right. But just briefly, I want to move on
And
to another
honestly,
segment.
nobody has business doing what I just said, doing that as late as 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 days prior to birth. Nobody has that.
All right, let's move on to the subject of immigration. And there is almost no issue that separates the two of you
Wait.
more than the issue of immigration. Actually,
Mexico.
Mr. Trump, you want to build a wall. Secretary Clinton, you have offered no
Wall.
specific plan for how you want to secure our southern border. Mr. Trump, you are calling for major deportations.
Finally, I get the drink.
Secretary
Jesus.
Clinton, you say that within your first 100 days as president, you're going to offer a package that includes a pathway to citizenship. The question really is, why are you right and your opponent wrong? Mr. Trump, you go first in this segment. You have 2 minutes.
Well, first of all, she wants to give amnesty, which is a disaster and very unfair to all of the people that are waiting in line for many, many years. We need strong borders. In the audience tonight, we have 4 mothers of, I mean, these are unbelievable people that I've gotten to know over a period of years whose children have been killed, brutally killed by people that came into the country illegally. You have thousands of mothers and fathers and relatives all over the country. They're coming in illegally. Drugs are pouring in through the border. We have no country if we have no border. Hillary wants to give amnesty. She wants to have open borders. The border secure, as you know, the Border Patrol agents, 16,500 plus ICE last week endorsed me. First time they've ever endorsed a candidate. It means their job is tougher, but they know what's going on. They know it better than anybody. They want strong borders. They feel we have to have strong borders. I was up in New Hampshire the other day. The biggest complaint they have, it's with all of the problems going on in the world, many of the problems caused by Hillary Clinton and by Barack Obama, all of the problems, their single biggest problem is heroin that pours across our southern borders, just pouring and destroying their youth. It's poisoning the blood of their youth and plenty of other people. We have to have strong borders. We have to keep the drugs out of our country. Right now, we're getting the drugs, they're getting the cash. We need strong borders. We need absolute, we cannot give amnesty. Now, I want to build the wall. We need the wall. The Border Patrol, ICE, they all want the wall. We stop the drugs. We shore up the border. One
Might
of my
need more
first
tequila.
acts will be to get all of the drug lords, all of the bad ones. We have some bad people in this country that have to go out. We're going to get them out. We're going to secure the border. And once the border is secured, at a later date, we'll make a determination as to the rest. But we have some bad hombres here, and we're going to get them out.
Mr. Trump, thank you. Same question to you, Secretary Clinton. Basically, why are you
That
right?
smile
Mr.
is so
Trump
fake.
wrong?
Well, as he was talking, I was thinking about a young girl I met here in Las Vegas, Carla, who was very worried that her parents might be deported because she was born in this country, but they were not. They work hard. They do everything they can to give her a good life. And you're right. I don't want to rip families apart.
How is she not deported
I don't
then?
want to be sending parents away from children. I don't want to see the deportation force that Donald has talked about in action in our country. We have 11 million undocumented people. They have 4 million American citizen children, 15 million people.
Going out.
He said as recently as a few weeks ago in Phoenix that every undocumented person would be subject to deportation. Now, here's what that means.
I actually
It
talked
means you would
to
have
a
to have
guy
a massive
that I know
law
that
enforcement
was an illegal
presence
immigrant. He got
where
his
law
green
enforcement
card
officers
finally.
would be going school
And,
to school, home to home, business to business,
he said that if
rounding
his
up
daughter
people who are undocumented.
was
And
separated with
we
him
would then have to put
because of
them
this,
on
he would want his
trains,
daughter to
on
have
buses
American
to get them out of
citizenship,
our country.
but he would want to
I
bring
think
his daughter
that
to
is,
Mexico
an
if he was
idea that
deported
is not in keeping with who we
while
are
he
as
was
a
illegal.
nation.
So
I think it's an idea that would rip our country apart.
that's
I have
actually
been
like the
for
best
border
thing
security
is
for
to like
years.
bring
I voted for border
the children with
security
you
in the
if you're
United States
deported,
Senate.
and
our
then they have a
comprehensive
choice
immigration
whenever they
reform
turn
plan,
18
of
to go
course,
to
includes
America or
border
go
security.
to or stay in Mexico.
But I want to put our resources where I think they're most needed, getting rid of any violent person, anybody who should be deported, we should deport them. When it comes to the wall that Donald talks about building, he went to Mexico, he had a meeting with the Mexican president, didn't even raise it, he choked, and then got into a Twitter war because the Mexican president said, we're not paying for that wall. So I think we are both a nation of immigrants and we are a nation of laws, and that we can act accordingly. And that's why I'm introducing comprehensive immigration reform within the first 100 days with a path to citizenship.
Thank you, Secretary Clinton. I want to follow up.
Which is good if there's a way to stop them from continually
First of all, I
coming
had a very
in.
good meeting with the president of Mexico, very nice man. We will be doing very much better with Mexico on trade deals, believe me. The NAFTA deal signed by her husband's one of the worst deals ever made of any kind, signed by anybody. It's a disaster. Hillary Clinton wanted the wall. Hillary Clinton.
He had to
fought
be
for the
professional
wall
in Mexico because he didn't want to be
2006,
assassinated.
or
That's
thereabouts.
why.
Now, she never gets anything done, so naturally the wall wasn't built. But Hillary Clinton wanted the wall.
Well, let me.
We
let-
are
wait,
a country
sir, let me,
of laws.
Let me.
We
Let
either
me.
have, and by the way,
No, wait. I'd like to hear from.
but you
I'd like
said
to hear
one
from.
thing.
I'd like to hear from Secretary Clinton.
I voted for border security, and there are some limited places where that was appropriate. There also is necessarily going to be new technology and how best to deploy that.
She's
but
folding to him.
It is clear when you look at what Donald has been proposing. He started his campaign bashing immigrants, calling Mexican immigrants rapists and criminals and drug dealers. That
if there's a wall and it's not in every single part,
we should do
they're just going to walk around the wall.
Immigrants. Now, what I am also
That's how it
arguing
works.
is that bringing undocumented immigrants out from the shadows, putting them into the formal economy will be good, because then employers can't exploit them and undercut Americans' wages. And Donald knows a lot about this. He used undocumented labor to build the Trump Tower. He underpaid undocumented workers, and when they complained, he basically said what a lot of employers do. You complain, I'll get you deported. I want to get everybody out of the shadows, get the
He didn't say that
working,
he hired
and not
people to
let
build
employers
his,
like
like
Donald
he hired,
exploit
oh my
undocumented
God.
workers, which hurts them, but also hurts
He
American
hired
workers.
people that
President
hired
Obama has
illegals.
moved millions
That's why.
of people out. Nobody knows about it. Nobody talks about it. But under Obama, millions of people have
Oh,
been deported in
Hillary.
this country. They've been deported. She doesn't want to say that, but that's what's happened, and that's what's happened big league. As far as moving these people out and moving, we either have a country or we don't. We're a country of laws. We either have a border or we don't.
Oh my God.
Now, you can come back in and you can become
I
a
haven't been
citizen,
drinking,
but
so
it's
let me
very
just
unfair.
drink
We
a
have
little bit
millions
for
of
all of the
people
border
that did it
talk.
the right way.
Jesus.
They're online. They're waiting. We're going to speed up the process, big league, because it's very inefficient. But they're online and they're waiting to become citizens. Very unfair that somebody runs across the border, becomes a citizen. Under her plan, you have open borders. You would have a disaster on trade, and you will have a disaster with your open borders. But what she doesn't say is that President Obama has deported millions and millions of people just the way
Secretary
it is.
Clinton, I want to.
We will not have open borders.
Well, let me
that is a rank mischaracterization.
Secretary Clinton.
We will have secure borders, but we will also have.
She said it
reform.
in the
And it's
emails
just to
that
be a
she wants
bipartisan
open
issue.
borders. She wants
Ronald Reagan was the
globalism.
last president
Excuse
to
me.
sign,
I like how she just smiles there and they
immigration
just-
reform, and George W. Bush supported it as well.
So,
Clinton, I wanna
anytime Trump
clear up your
snorts,
position
it's
on this
anger,
issue
and anytime
because
she
in a
smiles,
speech
it's
you
anger.
gave
It's
to a
two different
Brazilian
anger
bank
outlets.
For which you were paid $225,000. We've learned
Trump is actually
from
doing
the
really well
WikiLeaks
because he's
that
making
you
her
said
fold
this,
to
and I
his
wanna quote, My
policies.
dream is a hemispheric common market with open trade and open borders. So that's
Thank
the
you.
question.
He he brought up the Podesta emails, and like everyone in the.
The rest of the sentence, I was talking about energy. You know, we trade more energy
how's she smiling
with our
now?
neighbors
No, it
than
wasn't.
we trade with the rest of the world
She's like,
combined.
oh, fuck.
And I do want us to have an
It wasn't about
electric
energy.
grid,
I read
an
that entire
energy
email.
system that crosses borders. I think that would be a great benefit to us.
Oh, God.
But you are very clearly.
She is lying
quoting from
about
WikiLeaks.
her
And what's really
lie.
important
Holy
about
fuck.
WikiLeaks is that the Russian government
Wait.
has engaged in
Russia.
espionage against Americans.
Screwdriver.
They have hacked American websites, American accounts of private
Dude, I have to double
people,
fist this
of
fucking thing.
institutions. Then they have given that information to WikiLeaks for the purpose of putting it on the internet. This has come from the highest levels of the Russian government, clearly from Putin himself, in an effort as
Tequila and
17
vodka
of our
in my hands.
intelligence
Just
agencies
biggest
have
party going on
confirmed
right now.
to influence our election. So I actually think the most important question of this evening, Chris, is finally, will Donald Trump admit and condemn that the Russians are doing this and make it clear that he will not have the help of Putin in this election, that he
God damn
rejects
it.
Russian espionage against Americans,
Oh,
which
my
he
God.
actually encouraged in the past. Those are the questions we need
Putin.
answered. We've never had anything like this happen in any of our elections before.
That was a great pivot off the fact that she wants open borders, okay? How did we get on
Woo!
Hold on.
No.
Hold on. Wait. Hold on, folks. Because this is going to end up getting out of control. Let's try to keep it quiet for the candidates and for the American people. Go
So
ahead.
just to finish on the borders,
He's
she
winning.
wants
He's
open borders.
doing really
People
well.
are gonna pour into
He's
our country.
doing
People are gonna
super
come in
well.
From Syria. She wants
Damn, he came into this
550%
really,
more
like,
people
pointed.
than Barack
Holy
Obama, and he has
fuck.
thousands
Really
and
prepared for
thousands
this.
of people that have no idea where they come
That
from,
face looks
and
like
we see
she
we
knows
are
she's
going to
fucked.
stop
Like, look at how she's
radical
looking. She
Islamic
knows she's
terrorism in this
fucked.
country. She will
Holy
implement the
shit,
words and
dude.
never Obama. So,
Oh
I just
my
wanna tell you,
God.
She wants open borders. Now we can talk about Putin. I don't know Putin. He said nice things about me. If we
That
got
face
along
of hers.
well, that would be good. If Russia and the United
Okay,
States get
Putin.
along well and
Russia,
went after
okay.
ISIS, that would be good. He has no respect for her. He has no respect for our
Holy
president.
shit.
And I'll tell you what, we're in very serious trouble because we have a country with tremendous numbers of nuclear warheads, 1,800, by the way, where they expanded and we didn't. 1,800 nuclear warheads.
I need some water.
And she's playing chicken.
That was a lot of
Look,
drinking right there.
Putin, from everything I see, has no respect for this person.
Well, that's because he'd rather have a puppet as president of the United States.
No puppet.
And it's pretty clear.
You're the puppet.
It's pretty clear you won't admit
No, you're
that
the
the
puppet.
Russians have
You're the
engaged
puppet.
in
Oh.
cyber attacks against the United States of America, that you encouraged espionage against our people, that you are willing to
That water
spout
is
the Putin
actually vodka
line,
too.
sign up for his wish list, break up NATO, do whatever he wants to do, and that you continue to get help from him because he has a very clear favorite in this race. So I think that this is such an
Yeah, he has a clear
unprecedented,
favorite because you want to go to war with him.
We've
You've
never
said that you want to go to
had a
war.
foreign government trying to
Trump wants to be
interfere in the
friends.
election.
You
We
want to
have
go to war.
17
Guess which one's going to be his favorite?
intelligence
You
agencies,
idiot.
civilian and military, who have all concluded that these espionage attacks, these cyber attacks, come from the highest levels of the Kremlin.
Oh,
and
by
they
the
are
way,
designed to influence our election.
There's
I
a site,
find
I
that
cannot
deeply
remember it.
disturbing, and I think
I'll
it's
ask my
time
friend
to
later to post it.
Whether it's Russia, China, or anybody
I am
else.
not quoting
I don't
myself.
get this
I am
logic.
quoting
Hillary, you have no
17
idea.
17 intelligence.
I do, but-
17
Like, Russia's not the only one
So-
doing this with cyber
billion
attacks, though.
agencies.
Why are we
Well,
focused on that?
Yeah, that's what my friend has a website that he has that shows all the cyber attacks that are going on, and most of them are in America. Like it's America to America to America to
Because
America.
Putin has
It is.
outsmarted her at every step of the way. Excuse me.
Oh my God,
Putin
he's
has outsmarted
destroying her.
In
Mr.
Syria,
Trump, I'm
he's
not a
outsmarted
plant
her
here. I
every
do get
step of the way.
do get to ask some questions.
Yes,
and
sir.
I would like to ask you this direct question. The top national security
But most
officials
of our
this
attacks are
country
coming
do
from China,
believe that
actually.
Russia has
Yeah.
been behind these hacks.
And
Even if you don't know for sure whether they are, do you condemn
Argentina.
any interference by Russia in the American election?
By Russia or anybody else.
You condemn their interference.
Of course I condemn. Of course I can. I don't know Putin. I have
I'm
no
not asking
idea.
you. I'm asking
I
you, do
never
you
met
condemn?
Putin. This is not my best friend. But if the United States got along with Russia, wouldn't be.
Yeah,
so
he's not
bad.
orange right now. He's red.
Putin has outsmarted her and Obama at every single step of the way. Whether it's Syria,
The
you
ties
name
might
it,
be a little bit
misses.
too tight.
Take a look at the startup that they signed. The Russians have said, according to many, many reports, I can't believe they allowed us to do this. They create warheads and we can't. The Russians can't believe it. She has been outsmarted by Putin,
Holy
and all you have to
fuck.
do is look at the Middle East. They've taken over. We've spent $6 trillion. They've taken over the Middle East. She has been outsmarted and outplayed worse than anybody I've ever seen in any government whatsoever.
We're a long way away from immigration, but I'm going to let you finish this topic.
Well,
You got about 45 seconds.
Yeah,
And she always will be.
I find
Jeez.
it ironic that he's raising nuclear weapons. This is a
Getting wrecked
person
so hard
who
right now.
has been very cavalier, even casual about the use of nuclear weapons. He's advocated more countries getting them, Japan, Korea, even Saudi Arabia. He said, well, if we have them, why don't we use them, which I think is terrifying. But here's the deal. The bottom line on nuclear weapons is that when
I think the idea is that
president
you
gives
threaten
the
with them.
order, it must be followed. There's about 4 minutes between the order being
What?
given and the people responsible for launching nuclear weapons to do so. And that's why 10 people who have had that awesome responsibility have come out and in an unprecedented way said they would not trust Donald Trump with the nuclear codes or to have his finger on the nuclear button.
I have 200 generals and admirals, 21 endorsing me, 21 Congressional Medal of Honor recipients. As far as Japan and other countries, we are being ripped off by everybody in the world. We're defending other countries. We are spending a fortune doing it. They have the bargain of the century. All I said is we have to renegotiate these agreements because our country cannot afford to defend Saudi Arabia, Japan, Germany, South Korea, and many other places. We cannot continue to afford. She took that as saying nuclear weapons. Look, she's been proven to be a liar on so many different ways. This is just another lie.
Well, I'm just quoting you.
I honestly don't know unless
There's no
she
quote.
somehow
You're not going to
spies
find
on
a
me.
quote from me.
Nuclear competition in Asia. You said, go ahead, enjoy yourselves, folks. That kind
and defend
of language,
yourselves. And defend yourselves. I didn't say nuclear. And defend yourself.
The United States has kept the peace through our alliances. Donald wants to tear up our alliances. I think it makes the world safer, and frankly, it makes the United States safer. I would work with our allies in Asia, in Europe, in the Middle East, and elsewhere. That's the only way we're going to be able to keep the peace.
We are going to move on to the next topic, which is the economy, and I hope we handle that as well as we did immigration.
Money.
You also have very different ideas about how to get the economy growing faster. Secretary Clinton, in your plan, government plays a big role. You see more government
that was a lot of Russia.
More entitlements, more tax credits, more tax penalties. Mr. Trump, you want to get government out with lower taxes and less
I'm going to blow into my
We're gonna
breathalyzer
drill
right
down
now while
into
they're
this
talking.
a little bit more, but in this overview, please explain to me why you believe that your plan will create more jobs and growth for this country, and your opponent's plan will not. In this round, you go first.
That's great.
Well,
That's
think
amazing.
When the middle class thrives, America thrives. And so my plan is based on growing the economy, giving middle class families many more opportunities. I want us to have the biggest jobs program since World War II, jobs in infrastructure and advanced manufacturing. I think we can compete with high-wage countries, and I believe we should.
I'm at a .17 right now.
Energy, not only to fight climate change, which is a serious problem, but to create new opportunities and new businesses. I want us to do more to help small business. That's where 2/3 of the new jobs are going to come from. I want us to raise the national minimum wage because people who live in poverty should not, who work full-time should not still be in poverty. And I sure do want to make sure women get equal pay for the work we do. I feel strongly that we have to have an education system that starts with preschool and goes through college. That's why I want more technical education in high schools and in community colleges, real apprenticeships to prepare young people for the jobs of the future. I want to make college debt-free, and for families making less than $125,000, you will not get a tuition bill from a public college or university if the plan that I worked on with Bernie Sanders is enacted. And we're going to work hard to make sure that it is. Why would the government be paying for public colleges? We are going to go where the money is. Most of the gains in the last years since the Great Recession have gone to the very top. So we
oh no, she said that she was working with Bernie Sanders.
Their fair share. We're going to have corporations make a contribution.
Oh no, my state is
.05. That is a plan that has been analyzed by independent experts, which said that it could produce 10 million new jobs. By contrast, Donald's plan has been analyzed to conclude it might lose 3.5 million jobs. Why? Because his whole plan is to cut taxes, to give the biggest tax breaks ever to the wealthy and to corporations, adding $20 trillion to our debt and causing the kind of dislocation that we have seen before, because it truly will be trickle-down economics on steroids. So the plan I have, I think, will actually produce greater opportunities. The plan he has will cost us jobs and possibly lead to another great recession.
Secretary, thank you. Mr. Trump, why will your plan create more jobs
and
growth than Secretary Clinton?
Well, first of all, before I start on my plan, her plan is going to raise taxes and even double your taxes. Her tax plan is a disaster. And she can say all she wants about college tuition, and I'm a big proponent. We're going to do a lot of things for college tuition, but the rest of the public's going to be paying for it. We will have a massive, massive tax increase under Hillary Clinton's plan. But I'd like to start off where we left, because when I said Japan and Germany, and I'm not to single them out, but South Korea, these are very rich, powerful countries. Saudi Arabia, nothing but money. We protect Saudi Arabia. Why aren't they paying? She immediately, when she heard this, I questioned it. And I questioned NATO. Why aren't the NATO questioned? Why aren't they paying? Because they weren't paying. Since I did this was a year ago, all of a sudden they're paying, and I've been given a lot of credit for it. All of a sudden they're starting to pay up. They have to pay up. We're protecting people. They have to pay up. And I'm a big fan of NATO, but they have to pay up. She comes out and said, We love our allies. We think our allies are great. Well, it's awfully hard to get them to pay up when you have somebody saying, we think how great they are. We have to tell Japan in a very nice way.
They
we
are
have
great.
to tell Germany, all
But
of these countries, South Korea, we have to
it's
say,
nicer whenever they
you
pay.
have to help us out. We have, during his regime, during President Obama's regime, we've doubled our national debt. We're up to $20 trillion. So my plan, we're going to renegotiate trade deals. We're going to have a lot of free trade. We're going to have free trade, more free trade than we have right now.
Oh, my God.
But we have horrible deals. Our jobs are being taken out by the deal that her husband signed, NAFTA, one of the worst deals ever. Our jobs are being sucked out of our economy. You look at all of the places that I just left. You go to Pennsylvania, you go to Ohio, you go to Florida, you go to any of them. You go upstate New York. Our jobs have fled to Mexico and other places. We're bringing our jobs back. I am going to renegotiate
It's mostly
NAFTA.
to Mexico and
if I
China,
can't
but he
make a
said
great
Mexico.
deal, then we're going to terminate NAFTA
Mexico.
and we're going to create new deals. We're going to have trade, but we're going to terminate it. We're going to make a great trade deal. And if we can't, we're going to do it. We're going to go a separate way because it has been a disaster. We are going to cut taxes massively. We're going to cut business taxes massively. They're going to start hiring people. We're going to bring the $2.5 trillion that's offshore back into the country. We are going to start the engine.
All right, we're about
rolling again,
halfway
'cause
through this
now
debate right
our
now.
country is
Who do you
dying
think's
at
winning?
1%
I think for the
GDP.
most part it's Trump.
Well, let me translate that if I can, Chris,
Yeah.
because
You can't.
the fact is he's
Wait,
going
wait. She's going to try and
advocate for the largest
misquote
tax
him.
cuts
Oh,
we've
yeah,
ever
she
seen,
will.
3 times more than the tax cuts under the Bush administration. I have said repeatedly throughout this campaign, I will not raise taxes on anyone making $250,000 or less. I also will not add a penny to the debt. I have costed out what I'm going to do. He will, through his massive tax cuts, add $20 trillion to the debt. Well, he mentioned the debt. We know how to get control of the debt. When my husband was president, we went from a $300 billion deficit to a $200 billion surplus, and we were actually on the path to eliminating the national debt. When President Obama came into office, he inherited the worst economic disaster since the Great Depression. He has cut the deficit by 2/3. So, yes, one of the ways you go after the debt, one of the ways you create jobs is by
So just
investing
to
in people. So I do have
jump in a little bit on what she's
investments
saying.
in new jobs, investments in education,
Trump
skill
wants to get rid of
training, and the
loopholes,
opportunities
which
for
will
people
then
to
make
get
the
ahead and stay
rich
ahead.
actually end up
That's
paying
the
more.
kind of approach
Secretary.
that will work. Cutting taxes on the
but
wealthy, we've tried that.
she
It
wants
has
to
not
create
worked the way that it has been.
more
Secretary
loopholes
Clinton,
for the
I
rich
wanna
because
pursue
the rich
your
are paying her.
plan, because in many ways it is similar to the
And
Obama
she'll tax the
stimulus
middle
plan
class
in
or the upper middle class
2009,
more, causing a bigger
which has
divide
led
between
to
the
slowest
rich and the
GDP
middle class.
growth since 1949.
Correct.
Thank you, sir. You told me in July when we spoke that the problem is that President Obama
That's
didn't
why-
get to do enough in what he was trying to do.
She
with
had
this
her
stimulus. So is your
like
plan basically more,
mentally
even more of the
disabled
Obama
smile on.
Well,
I'll
it's a
be PC with that
combination, Chris, and let me
statement
say
right there.
that when you inherit the level of economic catastrophe that President Obama inherited, it was a real touch and go situation. I was in the Senate before I became Secretary of State. I've never seen people as physically distraught as the Bush administration team was because of what was happening to the economy. I personally believe that the steps that President Obama took saved the economy. He doesn't get the credit he deserves for taking some very hard positions. But it was a terrible recession. So
No, it was
now
the
we've
Senate
dug
that
ourselves
did that.
out of it. We're standing, but we're not yet running. So what I am proposing is that we invest from the middle out and the ground up, not the top down. That is not going to work. That's why what I have put forward doesn't add a penny to the debt, but it is the kind of approach that will enable more people to take those new jobs, higher paying jobs. We're beginning to see some increase in incomes, and we certainly have had
It really
a long
is just a
string
joke now.
of increasing jobs. We've got to do more
Oh, well.
to get the whole economy moving, and that's what I believe I will be able to do.
Mr. Trump, even conservative economists who have looked at your plan say that the numbers don't add up. That
How's
your
4chan looking
idea,
right now?
You've talked about 25 million jobs created, 4%
Over a 10-year period.
growth is unrealistic. And they say, you talk a lot about growing the energy industry. They say with oil prices as low as they are right now, that's unrealistic as well. Your response?
So I just left some high representatives of India. They're growing at 8%. China is growing at 7%, and that for them is a catastrophically low number. We are growing. Our last report came out, and it's right around the 1% level, and I think it's going down.
Yeah, it's like
week,
1 or
as
2.
You know, at the end of last week, they came out with an anemic jobs report, a terrible jobs report. In fact, I said, is that the last jobs report before the election? Because if it is, I should win easily. It was so bad.
This entire debate's been on policy. It hasn't been on anything else.
Look, our country is stagnant.
They haven't had any personal attacks yet.
Jobs. We've lost our businesses.
Trump has to like pull that out in the
anymore,
last 30
relatively
minutes.
Speaking. Our product is pouring in from China, pouring in from Vietnam, pouring in from all over the world. I've visited so many communities. This has been such an incredible education for me, Chris. I've gotten to know so many. I've developed so many friends over the last year, and they cry when they see what's happened. I passed factories that were thriving 20, 25 years ago, and because of the bill that her husband signed and she blessed 100%.
We also have a really good
It is just horrible what's happened to these people
farming
in these
economy in
communities.
America.
Now, she can say that her husband did well, but boy, did they
mining
suffer
economy.
as NAFTA
But
kicked
that's
in,
about
because
it.
It didn't really kick in very much, but it kicked in after they left. Boy, did they suffer.
We have silver
That
mines,
was
we have
one of the
copper
worst
mines, and we
things
have
that's
coal
ever
mines.
been
That's
signed
pretty
by our
much all
country.
of our
Now she wants to sign
economy other
Trans-Pacific
than
Partnership, and
entertainment.
she wants it. She lied when she said she didn't call it the gold standard in one of the debates. She totally lied. She did call it the gold standard, and they actually fact-checked, and they said I was right. I was so honored.
I want to give you a chance to briefly speak to that, and then I want to pivot to 1/6
And that
of the
will be as
economy,
bad as
which is
NAFTA.
Obamacare. But go ahead,
Well,
briefly.
First,
That'll be
let
worse
me
than
say,
NAFTA,
number
actually.
one, when I saw the final agreement for TPP, I said I was against it. It didn't meet my tests. I've had the same tests. Does it create jobs, raise incomes, and further our national security? I'm against it now. I'll be against it after the election. I'll be against it when I'm president. There's only one of us on this stage who's actually shipped jobs to Mexico, because that's Donald. He's shipped jobs to 12 countries, including Mexico. But he mentioned China. And, you know, one of the biggest problems we have with China is
Because we have
illegal
regulations
dumping
in
of
America
steel
that
and
stop them
aluminum
from being
into
able to
our
do it,
markets.
and they don't have as
I
high
have fought
standards in
against
America that they
as
can
a senator. I've stood up against
uphold.
it as Secretary of State. Donald has bought
Plus,
Chinese
keeps us
steel and aluminum. In fact, the Trump hotel right here in Las Vegas was made with Chinese steel. So he goes around with crocodile tears about how terrible it is, but he has given jobs to Chinese steel workers,
But
not
he's a
American
businessman,
steel
so he
workers.
has to do it.
That's the kind of approach that is just not going to work. We're going to pull the country together. We're going to have trade agreements that we enforce. That's why I'm going to have a trade prosecutor for the first time in history, and we're going to
That was really good
enforce
on
those
her,
agreements. And
because
we're
it
going
sounds
to
good, but
look
it's
for
not
businesses to help
fully
us by
true.
buying American products.
I ask a simple question. She's been doing this for 30 years. Why the hell didn't you do it over the last 15, 20 years? You were very much involved. Excuse me, my turn. You were very much involved in every aspect of this country. Very much.
My turn.
And you do have experience.
That's
The
great.
one thing you have over me is experience, but it's bad experience, because what you've done has turned out badly. For 30 years, you've been in a position to help, and if you say that I use steel or I use something else, I make it impossible for me to do that. I wouldn't mind. The problem is you talk. but you
Wow,
don't get
he's
anything done.
100% on point.
You don't.
Damn.
Just like when you ran the State Department, $6 billion was missing. How do you miss $6 billion? You ran the State Department. $6 billion was either stolen, they don't know. It's gone. $6 billion. If you become president, this country is going to be in some mess, believe me.
Well, first of all, what he just said about the State Department is not only untrue, it's been debunked numerous times. But I think it's really an important issue. He raised the 30 years of experience. So let me just talk briefly about that. You know, back in the 1970s,
He runs a business,
I
so I
worked
mean
for
he
the
has
Children's
to
Defense Fund,
like go
and I
with
was
what's
taking
cheapest
on,
with the highest
discrimination
quality.
against African
Even if he
American
cares
kids
about
in
America,
schools.
he has to care about
He
his
was
own
getting
business
sued
so
by
he
the
can make
Justice
money.
Department for
Yeah,
racial
his business isn't
discrimination
going to
in
function
his
properly if he
apartment
doesn't get
buildings. In the
Oh, wait, hold on.
1980s, I was working to reform
Okay,
the
so that
schools in
is
Arkansas. He
Trump.
was borrowing $14 million
Trump
from
scandals.
his father to start his businesses. In the 1990s, I went to Beijing, and I
that's
said
so
women's
good.
rights are human rights. He insulted a former Miss Universe, Alicia Machado, called her an eating machine. And on the day when I was in the Situation Room, monitoring the raid that brought Osama bin
Her
Laden
job
to
was to
justice.
stay pretty,
He
and
was
she didn't
hosting
do
the
it.
Celebrity
Like, if
Apprentice.
your job
So
is to stay
I'm
pretty, you have
happy
to stay pretty.
compare my 30 years of experience, what I've done for this country, trying to help in every way I could, especially kids and families, get ahead and stay ahead, with your 30 years, and I'll let the American people make that decision.
Well, I think I did a much better job. I built a massive company, a great company, some of the greatest assets anywhere in the world, worth many, many billions of dollars. I started with a $1 million loan. I agree with that. It's a $1 million loan, but I built a phenomenal company. And if we could run our country the way I've run my company, we would have a country that you would be so proud of. You would even be proud of it. And frankly, when you look at her real record, take a look at Syria, take a look at the migration, take a look at Libya, take a look at Iraq. She gave us ISIS because her and Obama created this huge vacuum. And a small group came out of that huge vacuum because when they
He did a ton of research
but once
this
we
time.
were there, we should have never got out the way they wanted to get out.
Whoa.
She gave us ISIS.
I'm actually shocked at how well
there,
Trump is doing.
And what happened is now ISIS is in 32 countries. And now I listen how she's going to get rid of ISIS. She's going to get rid of nobody.
All right, we are going to get to foreign hotspots in a few moments, but the next segment
Just
is
rip.
fitness
Rip.
to be president of the United States. Mr. Trump, at the last debate,
She's handing the election to
you
him
said
right
your
now. This
talk
is amazing.
about grabbing women was just that.
Oh,
talk,
here we go.
and that you'd never actually done it. And since then, as
Here we
all
go.
know,
Oh, God, here we go.
9 women have come forward and said that you either groped them or kissed them without their consent.
So Gary Johnson came out and said that he
Why
believes
would
all 9
so
women.
many different women from so many different circumstances over so many different years, why would they all in this last couple of weeks make up, you deny this, why would they all make up these stories? And since this is a question for both of you,
Big
Secretary
national attention,
Clinton,
that's why.
Mr. Trump says what your husband did.
I
and
actually
what you
believe
defended
2 of the
was even
girls,
worse.
by the way.
Mr. Trump, you
But-
go first.
Well, first of all, those stories have been largely debunked. Those people, I don't know those people. I have a
They
feeling
happen.
how they came. I believe it was
By
her
the way,
campaign
most of
that
them
did
do.
it. Just like if you look at what
I believe
came out
2 of the
today
stories,
on
by the way.
The clips where I was wondering what happened with my rally in Chicago and other rallies where we had such violence. She's the one in Obama that caused the violence. They hired people. They paid them $1,500.
He brought
and
it
they're on
up.
tape saying, be violent, cause fights, do bad things. I would say the only
I
way,
wanna see
because
her
those stories
response to
are all
this.
Totally
God.
false. I have to say that.
She looks fucking
And I
livid
didn't
now.
even apologize to my wife, who's sitting right here, because I didn't do anything. I didn't know any of these women. I didn't see these women. These women, the woman on the plane, the woman.
Other
I
than
think
the,
they want either fame or her campaign did it. And I think it's her campaign, because when I saw what they did, which is a criminal act, by the way, where they're telling people to go out and start fistfights and start violence. And I'll tell you what, in particular in Chicago, people were hurt and people could have been killed in that riot. And that was now all on tape, started by her. I believe, Chris, that she got these people to step forward. If it wasn't, they get their 10 minutes of fame. But they were all totally, it was all fiction. It was
my
lies and it was
God.
fiction.
Well,
Secretary Clinton.
at the last debate, we heard Donald talking about what he did to women. And after that, a number of women have come forward saying that's exactly what he did to them. Now, what was his response? Well, he held a number of big rallies where he said that he could not possibly have done those things to those women because they were not attractive enough for
She's
I
so
didn't say
angry.
that.
be assaulted.
I did not say that.
In fact,
Well,
he
he
went
said that
on
about
to
one of the
say-
women.
Her 2 minutes, sir, her 2 minutes.
But did
he-
not say that.
It's her 2 minutes.
He went on to say, look at her. I don't think so. About another woman, he said, that wouldn't be my first choice. He attacked the woman reporter writing the story, called her disgusting, as he has called a number of women during this campaign. You know, Donald thinks belittling women makes him bigger. He goes after their dignity, their self-worth, and I don't think
But
there
she's not
is a
going
woman
to
anywhere
talk
who
about
doesn't know what
all
that
the illegal
feels
things
like.
that she did.
Of course not.
So we now know what Donald thinks and what he says and how he acts toward women. That's who Donald is. I think it's really up to all of us
Gotta pull out the
to
whiskey right now.
demonstrate who we are and who our country is, and to stand up and be very clear about what we expect from our next president.
He wasn't expecting her to pull it
how
out
we want
like
to bring
that.
our country together.
Because she
where
knows
we
that
don't
that's a
want
losing issue.
to have the kind of pitting of people one against the other, where instead we celebrate our diversity, we lift people up, and we make our country even greater. America is great because America is
Hitting
good.
her like that
And
really
it
threw
really
her.
is up to all of us to make that true now and in the future, and particularly for our children and our grandchildren.
Mr. Trump.
Nobody has more respect for women than I do. Nobody. Nobody has more respect.
Please, everybody.
There's been some
frankly,
laughing, but whatever.
Those stories have been largely debunked. And I really want to just talk about something slightly different. She mentions this, which is all fiction, all fictionalized, probably or possibly started by her and her
She needs her shot.
very sleazy campaign. But I will tell you, what isn't fictionalized are her emails, where she destroyed 33,000 emails criminally, after getting a subpoena from the United States Congress. What happened to the FBI? I don't know. We have a great general, 4-star general, today, you read it in all the papers, going to potentially serve 5 years in jail for lying to the FBI. One lie. She's lied hundreds of times to the people, to Congress, and to the FBI. He's going to probably go to jail. This is a 4-star general, and she gets away with it, and she can run for the presidency of the United States. That's really what you should be talking about, not fiction, where somebody wants fame or where they come out of her crooked campaign.
Secretary Clinton.
Well, every time Donald is pushed on something, which is
she's stumped.
She uncomfortable, like what these women are
she's
saying.
trying to figure out what to say.
He immediately goes to denying responsibility, and it's not just about women.
Obviously, what he should
never
do.
Apologizes or says
She's
he's
just
sorry for
stumbling
anything.
at this point.
So we know what he has said and what he's done to women.
Because she's
But
caught.
He also went after a disabled
She hasn't even
reporter, mocked and
addressed what he
mimicked
said to
him
her.
on national
Not even
television.
close.
He went after Mr. and Mrs. Khan, the parents of a young man who died serving our country, a Gold Star family because of their religion. He went after John McCain, a prisoner of war, said he prefers people who aren't captured. He went after a federal judge, born in Indiana, but who Donald said couldn't be trusted to try the fraud and racketeering case against Trump University because his parents were Mexican. So it's not one thing. This is a pattern of divisiveness, of a very dark and in many ways dangerous vision of our country, where he incites violence, where he applauds people who are pushing.
You're inciting violence with your
rallies. That is not who America
She's the one who's
is,
trying to
and
throw us for World
I
War III. What the
hope
fuck?
that as
She's
we
the one who
move in the
paid
last
people
phase of this
to incite
campaign,
violence.
more and more people
She
will
literally paid people. He
understand
said, "I would
what's at
cover your
stake in
bills
this
if
election."
you
It really does come down to what
stop
kind of
someone
country we are
who
going to have.
So sad when
attacks
she
me."
talks about violence.
That's
at
what
my
she.
rallies,
That's what he
and
said.
she caused the violence. It's on tape.
During the
Now,
last.
the other things are false, but honestly, I'd love to talk about getting rid of ISIS, and I'd love to talk about other things.
Okay.
But those other charges, as she knows,
There,
are false.
in this bucket about.
She hasn't even
fitness to be
talked about
president,
them.
There's been a lot of developments over the last 10 days since the last debate.
We got 30 more minutes. I'm going to do another BAC.
Secretary Clinton, during your 2009 Senate confirmation hearing, you promised to avoid even the appearance of a conflict of interest with your dealing with the Clinton Foundation while you were Secretary of State. But emails show that donors got special access to you. Those seeking grants for Haiti relief were considered separately from
Thank God they're
non-donors,
talking
and
about
some of
this.
those donors got government contracts, taxpayer money. Can you really say that you kept your pledge to that Senate committee? And why isn't what happened and what went on between you and the Clinton Foundation, why isn't it what
All right,
Mr.
I'm at a
Trump
steady
calls pay to
point
play?
17.
Well, everything I did
This
as
is a little
Secretary
weird.
of State
This
was
thing
in
doesn't work that well,
furtherance
but-
our country's interests and our values. The State Department has said that. I think that's been proven. But I am happy. In fact, I'm thrilled to talk about the Clinton Foundation because it is a world-renowned charity. And I am so proud of the work that it does.
It's paid 10% to actual
I could
charities.
talk for the rest of the debate. I know I don't have the time to do that. But just briefly, the Clinton Foundation made it possible for 11 million people around the world with HIV/AIDS to afford treatment, and that's about half of all the people in the world who are getting treatment. In partnership with the American Health Association, we have made environments in schools healthier for kids, including healthier lunches.
Respectfully, this is an open discussion.
Well, it is an open discussion.
I understand, and the specific question went to pay for play. Do you want to talk about that?
But there is no evidence, but there is a lot of evidence about the very good work
and it's a criminal enterprise, and so many people know it. It's a criminal enterprise. Saudi Arabia giving $25 million, Qatar, all of these countries. You talk about women and women's rights. So these are people that push gays off buildings. These are people that kill women and treat women horribly, and yet you take their money. So I'd like to ask you right now, why don't you give back the money?
Has he been talking to Milo?
Certain countries that treat certain groups of people so horribly. Why don't you give back the money? I think it would be a great gesture because she takes a tremendous amount of money, and you take a look at the people of Haiti. I was at a little Haiti the other day in Florida, and I want to tell you, they hate the Clintons because what's happened in Haiti with the Clinton Foundation is a disgrace. And you know it, and they know it, and everybody knows
Secretary
it.
Clinton.
Well, very quickly, we at the Clinton Foundation spend 90% of all the money that is donated on behalf of programs of people around the world and in our own country. I'm very proud of that. We have the highest rating from the watchdogs that follow foundations, and I'd be happy to compare what we do with the Trump Foundation, which took money from other people and bought a 6-foot portrait of Donald. I mean, who does that? It just was astonishing. But when it comes to Haiti, Haiti is the poorest country in our hemisphere. The earthquake and the hurricanes, it has devastated Haiti. Bill and I have been involved in trying to help Haiti for many years. The Clinton Foundation raised $30 million to help Haiti after the catastrophic earthquake and all of the terrible problems the people there had. We've done things to help small businesses, agriculture, and so much else. And we're going to keep working to help Haiti because it's an important part of the American
They don't want you to help them anymore. I'd like to mention one thing. Trump Foundation, small foundation. People contribute. I contribute. The money goes 100% goes to different charities, including a lot of military. I don't get anything. I don't buy boats. I don't buy planes. What happens is the money goes out.
Wasn't some of the money used to settle your lawsuit, sir?
No, it was. We put up the American flag, and that's it. They put up the American flag. We fought for the right in Palm Beach to put up the American flag.
There was a penalty that was imposed by Palm Beach County, and the money came from your foundation.
And by the way, the money went to Fisher House, where they build houses. The money that you're talking about went to Fisher House, where they build houses for veterans.
I want to get into one
last. But of course, there's no way
just so you know,
whether any of that is true.
This was one of the funniest things.
He is the first candidate ever to run for president in the last 40+ years who has not released his tax returns. So everything he says about charity or
what he did to get around it was they put up a poll for a flag, and they said that the flag could only be so high. And instead of making the flagpole shorter, they built a hill to keep the flag that high.
Immigrants a few minutes ago, Chris. You know,
like that was his way to get around it. Was he built a fucking hill to make the flagpole exactly the federal height? It was really funny. It was actually like one of the most American things possible.
So let me just tell you very simply, we're entitled, because of the laws that people like her pass, to take massive amounts of depreciation and other charges, and we do it. And all of her donors, just about all of them. I know Buffett took hundreds of millions of dollars, George Soros, took hundreds of millions of dollars. Let me just explain. All of her donors, most of her donors have done the same thing as I do.
Okay.
And you know what she should have done?
Folks, we heard
and
this.
You know, Hillary, what you should have done? You should have changed the law when you were a United States Senator. If
Folks,
you don't
we
like
heard
it.
this. Yeah.
Because your donors and your special interests are doing the same thing as I do, except even more so.
Well,
They might have heard this last debate, but there's new people watching, so it's right to say.
I sat in my apartment today on a very beautiful hotel down the street known as Trump.
Made with Chinese steel.
But I will tell you, I sat there watching
that was actually really funny.
after false
That was good.
All paid for by your friends on Wall Street that gave so much money because they know you're going to protect them. And frankly, you should have changed the laws.
Trump,
if you don't like what I did, you should have changed the laws.
Mr. Trump, I want to ask you about one last question in this topic. You have been
if a fist fight breaks out, I have to take a triple shot and kill myself.
That this election is rigged. And
well, I mean, the shot will kill me, not me actually killing myself.
From you. Your running mate, Governor Pence, pledged on Sunday that he and you, his words, will absolutely accept the result of this election. Today, your daughter Ivanka said the same thing. I want to ask you here on the stage tonight, do you make the same commitment that you will absolutely, sir, that you will absolutely accept the result of this election?
Oh, yeah, I can.
Look at it at the time. I'm not looking at anything now. I'll look at it at the time. What I've seen is so bad.
People are laughing,
First
but
of
it's
all,
true.
the media is so dishonest and so corrupt, and the pylon is so
There's
amazing.
the link to
the New York
the
Times
stream.
actually wrote an article about it.
And
they don't even care. It's so dishonest, and they've poisoned
here's a link to the
minds of
debate.
The voters. But unfortunately,
if you don't want to hear me talk and you just want to be in the chat
I
instead.
think they're going to see through it. We'll find out on November 8th, but I think they're going to see through it.
But sir, there's
if you look, excuse me, Chris, if you look at your voter rolls, you will see millions of people that are registered to vote. Millions. This isn't coming from me. This is coming from Pew Report and other places.
There we go.
Millions of people that are registered to vote that shouldn't be registered to vote. So let me just give you one other thing. So I talk about the corrupt media. I talk about the millions of people. Tell you one other thing. She shouldn't be allowed to run. She's guilty of a very, very serious crime.
Look at her
She
face.
should not be allowed to run. And just in
She
that
knows.
respect, I say it's rigged because she should never, Chris, she should never have been allowed to run for the presidency based on what she did with emails and so many other things.
But, sir, there is a tradition in this country. In fact, one of the prides of this country.
It's tradition,
is the
it's not.
peaceful transition of power, and that no matter how hard fought a campaign is, that at the end of the campaign, that the loser concedes
Tradition,
to the winner.
not
saying that you're necessarily going to be the loser or the winner.
You know what's really funny? He says it's been a tradition, right?
The country comes together.
This is how the Civil War was created.
Now to commit to that principle.
The Civil War was over an election.
I'll keep you in suspense.
Robert E. lost to Lincoln, and that's how this started.
You know, every time.
So you can't say that it's been a fully good tradition.
No, you can't.
Whatever it is rigged against him. The FBI conducted a year-long investigation into my emails. They concluded there was no case. He said the FBI was rigged. He lost the Iowa caucus. He lost
you
the
paid
Wisconsin
them.
primary. He said the Republican primary was rigged against him. Then Trump University was sued for fraud and
Not
racketeering.
fully, but it was a little bit.
He claims the court system and the federal judge is rigged against him. There was even a time when he didn't get
She's
an
doing
Emmy
really
for
well
his TV
for this
program
point,
3
though.
years in a row, and he started tweeting that the Emmys were rigged against
Should have
him.
gotten it.
This is a mindset. this is how he thinks. And it's funny, but it's also
that was funny.
Okay.
That was funny.
That is not the way our democracy works. We've been around for 240 years. We've had free
It is funny.
and fair elections. We've
He's
accepted
able to
the
get a laugh out of
outcomes
it. That's
when
good.
We may not have liked them. And that is what must be expected of anyone standing on a debate stage during a general election. You know, President Obama.
By the way,
said
I
other
lost
day,
track
when
of what
you're
I was supposed to
whining
drink,
before
so
the
I'm just
election
drinking at this
even
point.
Hold on, folks.
finished, it just shows you're not up to doing the job. And let's be clear about what he is saying and what
Trump
that
hasn't
means.
really done
He is
anything
denigrating,
criminal that
he's
he
taken
hasn't
down our democracy.
got
And
away
I,
with.
for one,
She's
am
got away with a lot.
appalled
So
that somebody who is the nominee of one of our two major parties would take that kind of
yeah, Trump is
That's
destroying
what
this
the FBI
debate.
did and
But
what the
she's
Department
had a
of
really good
Justice did,
couple good
including meeting
points.
with her husband the Attorney General, in the back of an airplane on the tarmac.
She's slowly running out of energy. You can just kind of look.
I think it's a disgrace.
All right.
Trump still looks like he's ready to go another 9 rounds.
She looks like she's like fucking pissed.
Any good for anyone. Let's please continue the debate and let's
Dude,
move
she
on to the
is like.
subject of foreign
He brought up about her.
The offensive to take back Mosul has begun. If they are successful in pushing ISIS out of that city and out of all of Iraq, the question then becomes, what happens the day after? And that's something that whoever of you ends up as president.
I think trial by combat on both of them. Just let them both have a giant sword and just go at it.
That vacuum to make sure that ISIS doesn't come back or isn't replaced.
No, don't give them swords. Just give them like.
Secretary Clinton, you go first in this segment. You have 2 minutes.
Brass knuckles.
Well,
brass knuckles. That seems
fun. I'm encouraged that there is an effort led by the Iraqi army.
Change. So I'm going to take him to the
Kurdish forces and. Also, given the help and advice from the number of special forces and other Americans on the ground, but I will not support putting American soldiers into Iraq as an occupying force. I don't think that is in our interests, and I don't think that would be smart to do. In fact, Chris,
so she wants to bomb Iraq is basically what she's saying right here.
Waving for ISIS to reconstitute itself. The goal here is to take back Mosul. It's going to be a hard fight. I've got no illusions about that. And then continue to press into Syria to begin to take back and move on Raqqa, which is the ISIS headquarters.
Do not.
I am hopeful that the hard work that American military advisors have done will pay off.
What she's saying right now is one, stupid to tell like what she plans to do, and then two, she's fucking she's saying everything against Russia right now. Stop talking.
So I have said, look, we need to keep our eye on ISIS. That's why I want to have an intelligence surge that protects us here at home, why we have to go after them from the air, on the ground, online, why we have to make sure here at home we don't let terrorists buy weapons. If you're too dangerous to fly, you're too dangerous to buy a gun. And I'm going to continue to push for a no-fly zone and safe havens within
She's failing right here.
Not only to help protect the Syrians.
This all sounds really good to like uneducated people, but this, oh God.
On both the Syrian government and the Russians, so that perhaps we can have the kind of serious
Russia, okay, screwdriver,
to bring the conflict to an end and go forward on a political track.
Mr. Trump, same question. If we are able to push ISIS out of Mosul and out of Iraq, would you be willing to put U.S. troops in there to prevent their return or something else?
Let me tell you, Mosul's so sad. We had Mosul, but when she left, when she took,
we did actually.
Out, we lost Mosul. Now we're fighting again to get Mosul. The problem with Mosul and what they wanted to do is they wanted to get the leaders of ISIS who they felt were in Mosul.
I would actually really like to talk about Mosul, but I'm not going to talk over them the entire time. So.
And they're going to attack.
Just leave that for questions, right?
Whatever happened to the element of surprise?
Yeah, just leave that for questions.
We announced we're going after Mosul. I've been reading about going after Mosul now for about, how long is it, Hallie? 3 months? These people have all left. They've all left. The element of surprise. Douglas MacArthur, George Patton, spinning in their graves when they see the stupidity of our country. So we're now fighting for Mosul.
They left fighters, but they pull out all the leaders right now.
But you know who the big winner in Mosul is going to be after we eventually get it? And the only reason they did it is because she's running for the office of president. And they want to look tough. They want to look good. He violated the red line in the sand. And
it's what Bush did at the end of his election. It's what
but she wanted
like at the end of every 4 years, you see like this really good attack on the Middle East.
By the way, if you look
every
at what's
year,
happening,
it's really in every 4 years, it's really bad.
Much tougher, much more dangerous. Going to be more deaths than they thought. But the leaders that we wanted to get are all gone because they're smart. They say, "What do we need this for?" So Mosul is going to be a wonderful thing, and Iran should write us a letter of thank you, just like the really stupid, the stupidest deal of all time, a deal that's going to give Iran absolutely nuclear weapons. Iran should write us yet another letter saying thank you very much, because Iran, as I said many years ago, Iran is taking over Iraq, something they've wanted to do forever, but we've made it so easy for them. So we're now going to take Mosul, and you know who's going to be the beneficiary? Iran. Boy, are they making, I mean, they are outsmarting. Look, you're not there. You might be involved in that decision, but you were there when you took everybody out of Mosul and out of Iraq. You shouldn't have been in Iraq, but you did vote for it. You shouldn't have been in Iraq, but once you were in Iraq, you should have never left the way. The point is, the big winner is going to be Iran.
Well, you know, once again, Donald is.
This has actually been a very
trying to
even-handed
support the
debate.
invasion of Iraq. I said
To
it
be
was
honest,
a mistake. I've said that
like
years
with
ago.
the moderator.
He has consistently denied what is a very clear fact that before the invasion he supported it. And you know, I just want everybody to go Google it. Google Donald Trump Iraq, and you will see the dozens of sources which verify that he was for the invasion of Iraq.
Wrong.
And you can actually hear the audio of him saying that. Now, why does that matter? Well,
CNN,
it matters because
BuzzFeed, like that's
he has
really what it is.
not told the truth about that position. I guess he believes it makes him look better now to contrast with me because I did vote for it. But what's really important here is to understand all the interplay. Mosul is a Sunni city. Mosul is on the border of Syria. And yes, we do need to go after Baghdadi, and just like we went after bin Laden.
Baghdadi?
While you were doing
She said that 2 debates in a row, Baghdadi.
We need to go after the leadership, but we need to get rid of them, get rid of their fighters. They're estimated several thousand fighters in Mosul. They've been digging underground. They've been prepared to defend. It's going to be tough fighting, but I think we can take back Mosul, and then we can move on into Syria and take back Raqqa. This is what we have to do. I'm just amazed that he seems to think that the Iraqi government and our allies and everybody else launched the attack on Mosul to help me in this election. But that's how Donald thinks, you know. He always is looking for some
Chris, we don't gain anything.
He has all the
Iran is taking over Iraq.
Secretary Clinton.
Iran is taking over Iraq. We don't gain anything.
They are.
We would have gained if they did it by surprise.
Wait. Secretary Clinton, it's an open discussion.
He
Secretary.
We would have gained if they did it by
Secretary,
surprise.
please let Mr. Trump speak.
He's unfit, and he proves it every time.
I didn't hear anything they said.
WikiLeaks just actually came out. John Podesta said some horrible things about you, and boy, was he right.
Oh.
He said some beauties. And you know, Bernie Sanders, he said you have bad judgment. You do. And if you think that going into Mosul, after we let the world know we're going in, and all of the people that we really wanted,
the second he brought
they're
up
all gone. If you think that was good, then you do. Now, John Podesta said you have terrible instincts. Bernie Sanders said you have bad judgment. I agree with both.
Well, you should ask Bernie Sanders who he's supporting for president, and he has said,
which is
who did he pay?
Around the country, you are the most dangerous person to run.
Yeah, he should be
in the modern
supporting
history
Jill
of
Stein
America.
just by
I think he's right.
how everything works.
Turn to Aleppo. Mr. Trump, in the last debate, you
What is Aleppo?
About the situation in the Syrian city of Aleppo, and I want to follow up on that because you said several things.
Because Johnson was asked and didn't know.
True, sir. You said that Aleppo has basically fallen. In fact, there are.
It's a catastrophe.
The downfall of the Libertarian Party is this question.
Have you seen it?
Sir,
have you seen what's happened to Aleppo?
If I might finish my question.
Okay, so it hasn't fallen. Take a look at it.
Well, there are 250,000 people still living there and being slaughtered.
That's right.
You also
and they are being slaughtered because of bad decisions.
If I may just finish here. And you also said that that Syria and Russia are busy fighting
He's
ISIS.
so on the attack. This is so good for him.
Eastern Aleppo, and they just announced a humanitarian pause, in effect admitting that they have been bombing and shelling Aleppo. Would you like to clear that up, sir?
Well, Aleppo is a disaster. It's a humanitarian nightmare, but it has fallen from any standpoint. I mean, what do you need, a signed document? Take a look at Aleppo. It is so sad when you see what's happened. And a lot of this is because of Hillary Clinton, because what's happened is by fighting Assad, who turned
And
out
it's
to be
also
a lot
because
tougher
of
than she
Europe.
thought.
They put up
And
a
now she's gonna
giant
say, "Oh, he loves
border on
Assad."
Greece.
She
So
said he's just much tougher and much smarter than her and Obama. And everyone thought he was gone 2 years ago, 3 years ago. He aligned with Russia. He now also aligned with Iran, who we made very powerful. We gave them $150 billion back. We give them $1.7 billion in cash. I mean,
yeah, I love
cash,
the fact that Bernie
bundles
has
of
3
cash as big as
houses
this stage.
and is
We gave them
a socialist.
$1.7
It's one of the
billion.
funniest things ever.
Now, they have aligned. He has aligned with
He should
Russia
let
and with Iran. They don't
a
want
few
ISIS, but they have other
refugees
things
into his
because
house since he has
backing
3 of them.
We're backing rebels.
I'm sure they'll love the
We don't
fact
know
that
who
he's
the rebels
Jewish.
are. We're giving them lots of money, lots of everything. We don't know who the rebels are. And when and if, and it's not going to happen because you have Russia and you have Iran now, but if they ever did overthrow Assad, you might end up with as bad as Assad is, and he's a bad guy. But you may very well end up with worse than Assad.
I'm so famous. I'm so
We'd be
famous.
in much better shape. And this is what's caused the Great Migration. Where
I love
she's
my
taken
face.
in
Like
tens
that's
of
that's the
thousands
perfect
of
photo of
Syrian
me for this
refugees
debate.
who
Just
probably,
me just
in
face
many
bombing
cases,
as hard as
not
possible.
probably, who are definitely, in many cases, ISIS aligned. And we now have them in our country. And wait till you see, this is going to be the great Trojan horse. And wait till you see what happens in the coming years. Lots of luck, Hillary. Thanks a lot for doing a great job.
That's great.
Secretary Clinton, you have talked about, and in the last debate and again today, that you would impose a no-fly zone to try to protect the people of Aleppo and to stop the killing there.
I really
President
should.
Obama has refused to do that because he fears it's going to draw us closer or deeper into the conflict. And General Joseph Dunford, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, says, you impose a no-fly zone, chances are you're going to get into a war, his words, with Syria and Russia. So the question I have is, if you impose a no-fly zone, first of all, how do you respond to their
screwed,
concerns?
remember.
Secondly, if you impose a no-fly zone and a Russian plane violates that, does President Clinton shoot
To
that
be
plane
fair,
down?
we have no idea what her response was to all this
no-fly
because
zone
they just
could
sent
save
an email
lives
to
and
her.
could hasten the end of the conflict. I am well
No,
aware of
no,
the
she's
really
going in the opposite
legitimate
direction.
concerns
Oh
you
my
expressed
God.
about the president and the general.
Oh my God. So the email said, by the way, that it would kill almost everyone in the city that we would create the no-fly zone in. So if she's saying that they would save people, the email literally said, we will have to kill thousands of people to do this.
So
Jesus
I think
Christ.
we could strike a deal and make it very clear to the Russians and the
So she's
Syrians
complete,
that
like,
this was
I thought she was
something
gonna,
that
like,
we believed was in the
retort,
best interest
like, and be
of
like,
the
oh
people
no,
on the
like,
ground
I
in
would actually
Syria.
agreed.
It
I
would
took
help
some
us with our
advice
fight against
from them, and
ISIS.
I'm kind of
But I
worried.
wanna
But then
respond
she's
to
saying
what
this,
Donald
and then
said
it's like,
about
oh my God,
refugees.
it's
He's made
completely
these claims
flipping what they said.
repeatedly. I am not
And
going
oh my
to
God,
let anyone
this is
into
the
this
worst
country
thing
who
she
is
ever said.
not vetted, who
This is
we
the
do
worst
not
thing she
have
could have said.
confidence in, but I am not going to slam the door on women and children. That picture of that little 4-year-old boy in Aleppo with the blood coming down his face while he sat in an ambulance is haunting. And so we are going
By the
to
way,
do
we
very
bombed that
careful,
kid.
thorough vetting. That does not solve
We dropped
our
the bombs on
internal
Aleppo to cause
challenges
that.
with ISIS and our need to stop radicalization, to work with American Muslim communities who are on the front lines to identify and prevent attacks. In fact, the killer of the dozens of people at the nightclub in Orlando, the Pulse nightclub, was born in Queens, the same place Donald was born. So let's be
But his
clear
family
about
was
what
born
the
in
threat is and how
Afghanistan
we
and
are
came
best
here
going
and then
be
gave
able
birth to
meet
him
it.
and then
yes,
raised
some of
him.
that threat emanates from
In
over
Queens,
in Syria and Iraq, and we've got to keep fighting,
raised
and I
by
will
people
defeat
from
ISIS.
those
And
areas,
some
and
of it
he
is
was
we have to up
gay
our
and he
game
was
and be
worried.
much smarter here
Folks,
at home.
I want to get
Oh
into
my
our
God,
final
like,
segment.
stop. And he was a registered Democrat. He was a registered, what the hell?
We should have never let ISIS happen in the first place. And right now they're in 32 countries. We should have never. Wait 1 second. They had a ceasefire 3 weeks ago. A ceasefire, United States, Russia, Syria.
Yep,
And
Chad
during
is
the
definitely
ceasefire,
lit.
Russia took over vast swatches of land. And then they said, we don't want the ceasefire anymore. We are so outplayed on missiles, on ceasefires. They are outplayed. Now, she wasn't there. I assume she had nothing to do with it. But our country is so outplayed by Putin and Assad, and by the way, and
I'm gonna have to be lit at the fucking gym.
How stupid!
Fucking burn all these fucking calories from all these drinks.
Secretary Clinton, no, we need to move on to our final segment, and that is the national debt, which has not been discussed until tonight.
Oh,
Our
the
national
libertarian
share of the economy,
question.
Our GDP is
Here
now
we go.
77%. That's the highest since just after World War II. But the nonpartisan Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget says, Secretary Clinton, under your plan, debt would rise to 86% of GDP over the next 10 years. Mr. Trump, under your plan, they say it would rise to 105% of GDP over the next 10 years. Question is, why are both of you ignoring this problem? Mr. Trump, you go first.
Well, I say they're wrong because I'm going to create
Because neither of them are
tremendous jobs.
libertarians.
And we're bringing GDP from really 1%, which is what it is now, and if she got in, it'll be less than 0. But we're bringing it from 1% up to 4%. And
Actually, they said that
think you can
Trump's
go
is
higher
better.
than 4%.
So,
I think you can go to 5 or 6%. And if we do,
what was hers, 40
you
and
don't have
his
to
was
bother
100?
asking your
Like,
question, because we have a
Trump's is
tremendous
way better.
machine. We will have created a tremendous economic machine once again. To do that, we're taking back jobs. We're not going to let our companies be raided by other countries where we lose all our jobs. We don't make our product anymore. It's very sad. But I'm going to create the kind of a country that we were from the standpoint of industry. We used to be there. We've given it up. We've become very, very sloppy. We've had people that are political hacks making the biggest deals in the world, bigger than companies. You take these big companies, these trade deals are far bigger than these companies. And yet we don't use our great leaders, many of whom back me and many of whom back
honestly,
Hillary,
100 GDP, it's
those
horrible,
people.
but
Those
it's
are the
not that
people-
bad.
These are the greatest negotiators in the world. We have the greatest business people in the world. We have to use them to negotiate our trade deals. We use political hacks. We use people that get the position because they made a campaign contribution. And they're dealing with China and people that are very much smarter than they are. So we have to use our great people. But with that being said, we will create
that's pretty much
economic
Hillary Clinton right there,
machine,
zero
the likes
energy.
of which we haven't seen in many decades. And people, Chris, will
Must
again
recharge
go back
back
to work,
at base.
and they'll make a lot of money, and we'll
Yep.
have companies that will
So
grow and
it's
expand
10:30
and
right now.
start from new.
So they've been debating
Well,
for
first, when I hear
about an hour
Donald
and
talk
20
like
minutes
that
right
and
now.
know that his slogan was "Make
Good
America
job.
Great Again," I wonder when he thought America.
They got 10 more
was
minutes,
great.
pretty much 12 more minutes.
And before he rushes and says, before you and President Obama were there, I think it's
And
important
I'm gonna run to the bathroom before this ends. I'm gonna still listen. Cass, you can take over chat a
our
little bit.
government for decades. Back in 1987, he took out a $100,000 ad in the New York Times during the time when President Reagan was president and basically said exactly what he just said now, that we were the laughing stock of the world. He was criticizing President Reagan. This is the way Donald thinks about himself, puts himself into the middle and says, I alone can fix it, as he said on the convention stage.
Just love that she never addresses
But
any
if
of
you
the
look at
points in
debt,
this whole
which is the
thing.
issue you asked about, Chris, I pay for everything I'm proposing. I do not add a penny to the national debt.
It's just
I
mental
take that very
gymnastics. Holy
seriously
shit.
because I do think it's one of the issues we've got to come to grips with. So when I talk about how we're going to pay for education, how we're going to invest in infrastructure, how we're going to get the cost of prescription drugs down, and a lot of the other issues that people talk to me about all the time, I've made it very clear we are going where the money is. We are going to ask the wealthy and corporations to pay their fair share.
Yeah, my Discord isn't
and
doing
there
too
is
well
no
either.
evidence whatsoever that will slow down or diminish our growth. In fact, I think just the opposite. We'll have what economists call middle-out growth. We've got to get back to rebuilding the middle class, the families of America. That's where growth will come from. That's why I want to invest in you. I want to invest in your family. And I think that's the
But your
smartest way
plan's
to grow
gonna
the
fuck up the
economy, to
middle
make
class,
the economy
so
fairer. And we just have a
no,
big
that's not
disagreement
helping.
about this. It may be because of our experiences. He started off with his dad as a millionaire. I started off with my dad as a small businessman.
We've heard
And
this before.
I think it's, it's a difference that affects how we see the world and what we want to do with the economy.
Time.
Thank you, Hillary. Could I just respond?
Well, no.
Because
sir,
I
because
did
we're running out of
disagree with
time.
Ronald Reagan very strongly on trade. I disagreed with him. We should have been much tougher on trade even then. I've been waiting for years. Nobody does it right. And frankly, now we're going to do it right.
All right. The one last area I want to get into with you in this debate is the fact that the biggest driver of our debt is entitlements, which is 60% of all federal spending. Now, the
all right, I'm back.
Federal,
okay, cool.
Responsible federal budget has looked at both of your plans, and they say
I heard everything that was said. You did a really good job.
Serious plan that is going to solve the fact that Medicare is going to run out of money in the 2020s, Social Security is going to run out of money in the 2030s, and at that time,
just to add on to what you said, that was all about like the economy and how like they affect it. I think Trump is way better on economy.
Yeah,
make a deal to save Medicare and Social Security that included both tax increases and benefit cuts.
Her plan adds to create more taxes on Hillary. I've never seen these.
One thing we have to do: repeal and replace the
I've never seen these facial expressions from Clinton before.
Yeah, seriously. It's destroying our businesses.
She's worried. Like, this is actually worrying her. You can see it in her eyes. You can see it in her face that she's actually worried. She's trying to stay strong. You can tell that she's trying to look strong. And she's reminding herself whenever she looks at the camera to like look strong. But whenever she hears something, you can actually see like the look in her face of like, oh shit.
60, 70, 80%.
You know, the thing about his plan, though, is I actually agree with the idea of clearing up the loopholes more than just raising taxes. Because what's the point of taxes if you can't address the loopholes?
And she wants to make it even worse.
Yeah.
And it can't get worse.
On her website, it says that she wants to fix the loopholes, but she's funded by Wall Street. So how much can you actually trust her? Plus, in one of her emails, said that she has a private opinion and a public opinion, and her private opinion is to help Wall Street. Her public opinion is to stop Wall Street.
A deal that includes both tax increases and benefit cuts to try to save both programs.
Well, Chris, I am on record as saying that we need to put more money into the Social Security Trust Fund. That's part of my commitment to raise
tax more people
is
what she just said.
Social Security payroll contribution will go
Plus,
up,
if you increase taxes on the
Donald's,
wealthy, you're just making people raise prices. That's all you're doing.
Such a nasty one.
Which, I mean, by raising the minimum wage, everything is just going to be inflated. Like, I did the math. It was like, if she gets elected, everything will be inflated 300%, even if you're making twice as much money.
Benefits for low-income workers and for women who have been disadvantaged by
so you might make twice as much. So it's an inflation fully of 1/3
will result in a
is what she would propose.
Additional national debt.
And it's not going to affect anyone who's always using those loopholes and they've been using for years.
And I'll say something about the Affordable Care Act, which he wants to repeal. The Affordable Care Act extended the solvency of the Medicare Trust Fund. So if he repeals it, our Medicare problem gets worse. What we need to do is go after the long-term health care drivers. Get costs down, increase value, emphasize wellness.
Holy shit, he's going off.
And I think that we will be able to get entitlement spending under control with more resources and smarter
Let me catch up on
the
reading.
Final time, probably to both of your delight, that you're going to be on stage together in this campaign. I would like.
This is the final time both of you are going to look each other in the face.
Closing statements, but it seems to me in a funny way that might make it more interesting.
She looks like she's going to try to kill him.
Closing statements. So I'd like you each to take it. We're going to put a clock up a minute as the final question in the final debate to tell the American people why they should elect you to be the next president. This is another new mini segment. Secretary Clinton,
That's nice.
It's your turn to go first.
Well, I would like to
here we
say
go.
to everyone watching tonight that I'm reaching out to all Americans, Democrats, Republicans, and Independents, because we need everybody to help
there's
make our
definitely a warm
country
filter on
what it should be,
Hillary.
to grow the economy, to make it fairer.
You can
to
tell
make
by
it work
background, too.
for everyone. We need your talents, your skills, your commitment, your energy, your ambition. You know, I've been
It's also our
privileged
makeup,
to
too.
see the presidency up close. And I know the awesome responsibility of protecting our country and the incredible opportunity of working to try to make life better for
We love
all
you
of
too. We love you
I have
too.
made the cause of children and families really.
We're going to be streaming another hour,
That's what my mission
about
will
30
be
minutes
in the
after the stream,
presidency.
by
I
the
will
way.
stand up for families against powerful interests,
Just to like
against
talk about
corporations. I will
about.
do everything that I can to make sure that you have good jobs with rising incomes, that your kids have good educations from preschool through college. I hope you will give me a chance to serve as your president.
Secretary Clinton,
watch whenever they switch. See how like dark the text is and like how like bright.
She wants to.
Yeah. See like how there's a little bit of a difference.
But when I started this campaign,
there's a slight difference.
Very strongly. It's going.
This is a little bit more red on the background, but whatever.
We're going to
like,
make America.
It's not a big
We have a depleted
difference.
military. It has to be helped. Has to be fixed. We have the greatest people on earth in our military. We don't take care of our veterans. We take care of illegal immigrants, people that come into the country illegally.
You can see a slight filter. It's not a big difference. It's like
our policemen and women
maybe a little bit, but I mean, that could just be like camera difference. That could be a lot of different
our inner
things, but
cities
whatever.
are a disaster. You get shot walking to the store. They have no education. They have no jobs. I will do more for African Americans and Latinos than she can ever do in 10 lifetimes. All she's done is talk.
It also might be
to the
this stream compared to like
African
Fox
Americans
and all the
and to
other ones. So
But they get the vote, and then they come back. They
take
say,
that
"We'll
as
see
you
in
will."
4 years. We are going to make America strong again, and we are going to make America great again, and it has to start now. We cannot take 4 more
If I was
years
watching
of
Fox,
Barack
like Trump might
Obama,
look
and
better.
that's what you get when you get her.
Thank you both. Secretary Clinton, hold on just a moment, folks. Secretary Clinton, Mr. Trump, I want to thank you both for participating in all 3 of these debates. That brings to an end this year's debate sponsored by the Commission on Presidential
He was
Debates.
definitely the best
We want to
moderator
thank the
so far.
University of Nevada, Las Vegas, and its students for having us. Now the decision is up to you. While millions have already voted, Election Day, November 8th, is just 20 days away. One thing everyone here can agree on, we hope you will go vote. It is one of the honors and obligations of living in this great country. Thank you.
I'm watching the NBC stream. Okay, so we're just gonna bring up. I did this last time too. Hopefully it'll jump forward. Maybe no. Okay. We're just gonna bring up a photo of both of them. Just gonna mute this. That's a bad photo. That's a really bad photo. That's good. Wanted to make sure that both of them look decent in this. If you guys have any questions, here, I'm just gonna say questions. All right. So who do you think won? Because that's pretty much the main question.
I'm gonna go with Trump on this one.
All right. I do think Trump won this one too. I think at the end, like at the beginning, they were more even-handed. Trump was definitely better on the attack, and like Trump had a slight edge. In the middle, Trump was destroying her, and at the end, it was a little bit more even-handed. Maybe even Hillary was started to beat him at the end, but not by much. Just by like policies and how she sounded. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, it seems like they both lost steam at the end of the whole thing.
I mean, the questions were taken away from Trump at the end. Like Trump still had, like he looked like he had steam, but he didn't have good answers for the end because he didn't have any really good counterpoints really, and he started going back to what he did in the second debate, which was honestly a good strategy if he felt like he wasn't doing well.
And here comes damage control.
The damage control from the meeting. I do agree. That's why I'm not watching any of like the end of it because I know what's gonna happen. Fox is gonna say that Trump won. NBC, CNN, ABC is gonna say that Hillary won. That's all that's gonna happen. And they're just gonna ask her advisors and her campaign managers and his campaign managers and all that kind of stuff, and interview very biased people. There's no point to listen to the end of the debate, even though a lot of people will. Yeah, that's pretty much what it was. No, while I'm doing this, what alcohol should I finish? Should I finish the Trump, the Hillary, the Russian or the Mexico. Okay, just leave it in the comments, and I'll try and finish it by the end of this stream. I'll say I'm pretty fucking drunk. So, anything that you want to say about this debate? It's a good photo of Trump. That looks like he's very firm, actually. Cass, is there anything you want to say about this? Like anything that you noticed, anything that you saw that you liked?
What I really liked is the fact that Hillary Clinton, like you can see how Hillary Clinton is more self-aware that she's fucked.
Okay. I do agree that she definitely has a huge issue. I'm not going to say that word because I could get in trouble for it. I don't care if it's on the stream. I can't. Okay. So, why are we, F words? To Dragonkin. I'm not, but, I'll take the insult. Whatever. But let's see. Three-part question. How did Hillary not address the points about the illegal tactics? If she brings it up, she has to acknowledge it. She was trying to not acknowledge the points, was the entire point. She was trying to sway away, she was trying to pivot, and Trump was staying on her. So people are going to see that and notice that she didn't jump on it, and Trump was right to just continually attack it. That was actually a very good tactic by Trump. It was a bad tactic by Clinton. Clinton should have tried to dismiss it by saying that all of this was acted out. Like they hired actors to act like that. The issue with that is a couple of the people did come out and were fired, were dismissed from the Clinton campaign. One person just said, I don't want to make this about myself, so I am going to resign from helping the Clintons out. Anyway, that's all. Let's see. How did she get away with that? Bias media. Right now, all the media sources, if you listen to the guy that is doing this, he came out and said that he had an inside source that said that the media is purposely not covering it because they're afraid that the Clinton campaign is going to come out and start talking or start looking into these news outlets and then try and get them fired or try and fine them or something like that, so they're not allowed to talk about it.
Wow.
How much do you know? How much do you want to bet that the media ignores the parts they played on the slant? I 100%, like I just said in that last thing, they're being paid off. So by the Clinton campaign, and they don't want to be. Yes, we are still on stream. Do you think people really care whether or not he won't accept the results? I think some people do. I honestly do think that some people care about that kind of stuff. I don't know if Cass, like, what's your opinion on? Do you think that people care if he's going to accept the results or not? And I can play into what is actually said by him and stuff like that after.
I actually don't even really know. I mean, I can't really say I can speak for the entirety of the people here.
Okay. So, one, people don't really care, but two, what he wants to do is, if he loses, that he's going to put a full investigation against her, and after all of the videos that came out from the project, whatever, I cannot remember what it's called. Project starts with V, whatever. After that, and the WikiLeaks stuff, he wants a full investigation. He's going to push a full investigation and sue her if she wins, is basically what it is. And that's why he was saying what he did. Is it just me, or are Hillary and Trump starting to look at each other? I don't know what you mean by that, John. they have to look at each other to pay attention to what they were saying. Hillary actually looked like she wasn't zoning out as much. She looked more on point this debate, is what I will say.
And she looked like she was trying to just dodge the questions harder, considering that.
Yeah.
That
she looked very angry. She was trying to look strong, and then she looked angry. She stopped smiling. She went from her smiling, kind of like passive aggressive look to just straight up anger at the end. Whenever the allegations were brought up. So I honestly think Hillary looked really bad, like physically looked really bad because she looked angry, while Trump looked very presidential. He looked very on point, while he was still very presidential and looked angry. He looked like someone in charge, while she looked like someone that just wanted to start throttling his throat. You are misreading the question. Is it just me, or are Hillary and Trump starting to look like each other? Oh, look like each other, not look at each other. I'm sorry. You see all this alcohol? I'm sorry. Look like each other. Hillary, yeah, she started to squint a little bit, and she's kind of copying his hairstyle. Her blonde. Her hairstyle is definitely fake. She's definitely doing all that. They both look angry. That's really what it is. Trump looks more like a stern dad, while Hillary looks like a mother that's punishing her kid. Pizza Taco Cat. Cass, do you want to talk about anything on this debate? Like, fuck. I've been doing a lot of research on both of them, so before this.
Nice. I can easily tell by all the responses you had this entire.
Yeah. Do you have any questions at all? Do you have anything that you want to bring up, like at all? Like, I need to. Foreign policy wise, who do you think won? Trump or Clinton?
I think I would probably agree with Trump a bit more due to the fact that when it comes to the whole Russian thing, I would agree with the idea of trying to be more friendly to them instead of making baseless accusations about cyber attacks and then trying to declare war on them.
Okay. Yeah, I actually agree with that. I think Clinton is trying to incite a war with Russia, or trying to incite an argument with Russia. Russia is not part of NATO and has always been an issue whenever it comes to the UN.
Yeah.
So she's going to have a very big bias because she's been part of the U.S. political system for years, and she knows about how bad they were whenever they were the communists, whenever you go through the Cold War.
Yeah.
Which they are a big issue, which that's why Trump, I think, because he does know how bad they were with the Cold War, wants to keep peace with them because of how strong they've always been and how ready they are to always attack us. So I think that Trump is right on this. It sounds like he wants to like keep peace, but he doesn't fully trust them.
Yeah.
What about Syria and the Middle East in general?
I think that we should probably keep to the whole thing and just stay the fuck away from now on. Like we shouldn't have gone involved with Iran at all. We shouldn't have attacked.
So that's the libertarian answer. Here's the issue, because I've had this discussion so many times, and I'll talk about muscle a little bit with this too, because I wanted to touch on that a little bit. Trump definitely did a good job talking about the Middle East and how her policies failed. We shouldn't have went in the first place. We shouldn't have been in the countries that we are in. But we've destroyed those countries to a point that we actually have to intervene now, which is the big issue. I disagree with intervening, but because we've already intervened, we have to finish the job, as horrible as that sounds. With Mosul, the best way to put this is we went into Mosul after we've already conquered Mosul and then gave it up. So we went in, we did a really good plan. We slowly defeated ISIS in that area, and we rebuilt the area, and there was peace in that area, right? And then whenever Obama took office, he pulled a lot of troops out. And whenever he pulled a lot of troops out, they retook Mosul. And not only that, they took our bases that we built in buildings that were protecting the area. So it's even harder to take now because we built bases to be able to fight from with sandbags and everything. So it's even harder to take because they have our strategies, they have our buildings. And that's the big issue. That's why we can't put boots on the ground. And that's the really big issue. So because we put boots on the ground, we can't put boots on the ground. We have to bomb our own facilities that we already built. The facilities that we built were created by the people that McCain employs. So McCain's going to make a field day on money on this, which is a huge issue. So that's just how this all leaks together. And so we gave up the area, and within a week, all the people that were having peace, there was actually soccer games played with U.S. citizens and the people that we were helping in the area in the streets, and then it became a war-torn area within a week again. That's the big issue. We need to re-help them. And with Trump, I can see that. With Hillary, I can't. Yeah. So if we're going to do things, we have to do it correctly. We have to do things exactly how the Bush administration was doing it, as horrible as that sounds, because I hated the Bush administration to begin with. But that was a good plan. The Obama administration, their entire thing was intervention and just like trying to hold areas, and pulling troops out and trying to hold like bigger areas, and it threw the entire thing in the Middle East. The entire Aleppo thing. Aleppo is it's the biggest border city, and they closed the border between Greece and Turkey. So a lot of people were flooding to Aleppo, and then they can't get into Turkey anymore because they won't let any immigrants through.
That's not good.
So Aleppo became this huge refugee camp, is what happened, because the Greek government said we can't take any more people. We've already flooded our own economy. We can't do it anymore. So that's why Aleppo is such a big deal, because it is where all the refugees are right now, because they were trying to get out of the country because we are bombing them, because Russia is starting to come into the country, and because ISIS is taking over. So they're trying to get out. The issue is they have nowhere to go now. That's why Aleppo is becoming a huge issue, by the way.
Yeah.
Honestly, I have no solution for that. I wish I did, but there's absolutely no solution for the people in Aleppo.
That situation seems so fucked that nothing's gonna help it.
Yeah, exactly. We can take refugees, but if we take refugees, then we're taking more people from probably Turkey. For the people that got into Turkey and that we've been able to screen slightly, not very well, but at least slightly.
Yeah, and we won't be able to take everybody.
And then,
so they're going to hate us either way.
Yeah.
For doing that.
Yeah, so there's absolutely no point. The best thing that we can do is send aid to Aleppo and try and send boots on the ground to defend the city, and then kind of cut it off to ISIS, and that's the best thing we can do, and that's the only thing we can do, and they'll still hate us.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, that is such,
and then building them up.
That's such a big issue. So, yeah. I don't know what else to say about that kind of stuff. What do you think about the economy?
I would say that there has to be a fix on those loopholes like Trump mentioned, since that's a huge problem. And considering that some people get away with the taxes based upon those loopholes, I see no reason to just tax people because of that. Ultimately, you just end up taxing honest working folk, and not the rich who are just being sleazy with those.
If Hillary Clinton actually followed her own tax policy, it would be okay.
Yeah.
Just okay. It wouldn't be good. It wouldn't be great. It'd just be like okay. It'd be borderline. Like we can deal with this. She's not gonna follow her tax policy, so it's gonna be horrible. Trump, we can't hold him account. Like we can't say he's gonna be. We don't have a voting record for him. We don't know if he'll follow his plan or not. But just off of his plan, his policy is actually, I'd say, great. It's not perfect. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's about it. Like that's all I can say about it. Like I don't know if he's gonna keep the loopholes in or try and keep the loopholes in so he can get around it because he is a businessman. But we can only hope. Is really like the issue is we know Clinton's record, and Clinton's record is horrible. We don't know Trump's record. He could play for himself. He could not. If he follows his own tax policy, it's going to be great. What's that image say? Looks like a buffoon, but she tried to defend the CF, but the rest of her points were solid. Any further thoughts or discussion about the third? Except this time, Kellyanne Conway is mad at the media and currently is spinning the room. Trump did. During the first debate, the debate was on policy. Trump wins. So if the fact is Trump didn't get mad at this debate, which makes him look better. That's why he lost the first debate. Was he got mad and he was just trying to fight back and he was on his back foot. This debate, he was always on his front foot. He was always fighting really well. He was attacking Clinton on everything, so he did look better. But no, Trump performed probably to the best of his ability, honestly. I couldn't have asked for a better debate from Trump. Hillary Clinton, on the other hand, definitely lost a lot of points.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Obviously, Democrats are still going to say that Hillary Clinton won because she did fight back on a lot of Trump's point, and she did stay on her policy. But there was a lot of issues with she didn't address anything that Trump said. She never addressed him back. She would attack him personally, but she never attacked him on policy. If you want to go through the entire debate again and watch it and just keep an eye on whenever she attacks him personally compared to whenever she attacks him on policy, she never attacks him on policy.
Yeah.
I think that wraps this up. I think Trump won. I think he did beautifully. I think Hillary Clinton had a lot of great points that should be considered and looked at. But she had a lot of talking points. She talked about, like, she brought up women's rights and she brought up LGBT rights at the beginning, but that's about it. Why would I do? Yeah, I mean that's gonna be a lot of people. I definitely switched over to the Clinton campaign. Like, the issue is he can't acknowledge the claims. If he acknowledges the claims, then he's liable. If he doesn't acknowledge the claims, then he can at least deny it. Like, you can't really hold him accountable for things that he's done, or things that are said that he's done. All of the like those are just a lot of things that he said, and I don't like him on sexual anything, and I think that he did a good job at addressing it. That's all I can say about it. I think personally he definitely did do a couple sexual assault things. However, Hillary Clinton's covered her husband for all the sexual assault things that he's on, so both of that should just be a moot point at this point. I don't like either of them. I think Trump did better. Also, if you're looking at the photo right now, you can see the filter that was used between them. Just real fast, like if you're looking at it, you see how like Trump has like a brighter blue behind him, and Hillary Clinton has like this off blue, like darker blue. Yeah. The darker blue is that's a summer filter. It brings out her facial features more, while the light blue is bringing out the red in his face more to make him look more angry. You can see the filters now, which was a question that was asked, and I didn't address it until I brought up this screen. But yeah, you can see the filter now. It's to make Trump look bad. I'm not sure if Fox had the same filter. I'll look through it later. But anyway, that's all I'm gonna keep typing in the chat. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Join our Discord group. Like our Facebook page. Like the Dragonkin page. Cass, do you have a page?
Currently no. That's probably going to change pretty soon.
No, you have. Okay, so whenever Cass has a page, we'll link to it, and you have a Twitter. We'll put all those links eventually somewhere. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. This has been the debate with our thing. It's been a little bit less memey. That was because people were posting less memes in our chat, and we were discussing what was going on.
Yeah.
So hopefully this debate sheds a little light. I'll probably make a video sometime this week, not drunk, discussing how I actually feel about a lot of the stuff that was discussed, where I can have more of a clear mind. But thank you guys for watching. Yeah. Anyway, peace out.
See ya all.